Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we are live. It's been a minute since I've been live on Friday, minus when the Las Vegas Raiders hired Antonio Pierce, but usually in the offseason, when I go live on Fridays, it is Friday happy hour, and as far as I'm concerned, I am off Saturday, I am off Sunday. Chugs and I got the next 2 days off, and if y'all are ready to turn up here, believe me, I was a hurting pup this morning. Some of y'all kicked my you-know-what when we went live yesterday for the breaking news that the Las Vegas Raiders ended up hiring Kliff Kingsbury to be their OC. And coming up on today's show, we're going to do a lot of quarterback conversations because finally, and I mean finally, I am able to put a list together ranking the top quarterbacks most likely to be under center for the Silver and Black now that OC has been decided with Kliff Kingsbury. Then we're going to get into some rumors around Caleb Williams because there continues to be a lot of smoke. And if you're like, Mitch, I'm kind of sick and tired of the Caleb Williams talk, here's the problem, man. As long as there continues to be rumors and smoke around it, my job here is to talk about it the best way that I know. Then, one of my really good buddies, I'm talking back in the day, fantasy football days, he was at the Senior Bowl the entire week, and I asked him, hey, bro, like, give me some winners, give me some losers. So since I personally wasn't there, what he ended up doing was giving me a rundown of every single winner and loser from the Senior Bowl. As always, you can use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. Get those questions, comments flowing on the show. But here's a big-time question that I got for Will Thompson, Renee, Jim K, DJ Loda, Danny Lee. What up, Papa T? Mr. David Zahn. I got some special things in store for you today. Who will be the Raiders starting quarterback in 2024? Let me know down below. Get your votes in. If you please could, what are you thinking here? Who is going to be the Raiders starting quarterback? And yes, for those that do not know, Elijah Mendez, RIP Carl Weathers, which I actually did not know this. He was a Raider fan. I did not know that. I just found it out on social media about 10, 15 minutes ago that he was a Raider fan. RIP down below. But who's going to be the Raiders starting quarterback in 2024? Also, hopefully, everybody is having a great day. It's Friday. It looks like it's about to rain here, which I'm a little bit worried about for my walk home. So I might have to be taking an Uber after this bad boy. But if you want, go get your votes. And I did put a poll. What's up? Carl Weathers played for the Raiders. What did I say? Oh, yeah, my bad. Who will be the Raiders starting quarterback in 2024? Caleb Williams at 31%. Jaden Daniels, 36%. Justin Fields, 26%, 7% say other. If you are going to put other, at least tell me who you want that person to be. Mooncage, Jaden Daniels, early riser. They always say early bird gets the worm, but early riser saying AOC. I don't think you're getting many worms, my guy. Taino Raider, he played for the Raiders, number 49. Grohl, what up, man? King Shav says Jalen Hurts. That's not going to happen. Sienna, going to roll with Justin Fields. Drake May from Dylan Erickson. Cloud says Caleb Williams. Fields from Cruising All Day. Mo Cox, Penix or Milton. That would be a disaster. Big luck. Jaden Daniels, going to be Fields, in my opinion, from Christie. Remember, you can always get those questions, comments on the show. This is a little bit of an oldie. Shazam. Can we take a moment of silence for Carl Weathers, number 49? All right, everyone right now, get those RIPs going. Moment of silence for Carl Weathers. What up, Sam Miller? Hire Tom Cable. He's only 59. Hire Hugh Jackson. Woo. I don't know, man. If you want to continue to add some old faces to like senior advisor roles, I'm okay with it. Like, I don't mind the idea of you bringing in Hugh Jackson. Like, Hugh's been wanting to be a Raider for a long time, and if you can add him kind of like in the role, and again, when I say kind of like the role, assistant head coach is what Marvin Lewis got, but it's because Antonio Pierce trusts Marvin Lewis, and I am okay betting my money on whatever Antonio Pierce wants to do right now. Until he proves to me that he shouldn't be trusted, I'm going to trust him. And if Kliff Kingsbury and Antonio Pierce said, you know what, I actually think Hugh Jackson would be a really, really good addition to our staff, who am I to say that that's not going to happen? Because every single time Antonio Pierce has added somebody that he says, that's my guy. Jack Jones is the perfect example of that. Worked out pretty damn good the last time I checked. Now, if you don't already know, today's show sponsor is PrizePicks. And if you're like me, you're regretting the big game. I don't want the Niners to win. I don't want the Chiefs to win. And I've had a lot of people tell me, Mitch, I'm not even going to watch the game. I'm calling cap on that. So here's my thing. If you're that Raider fan that goes, man, I don't even know if I want to watch these two teams that I hate play in the Super Bowl. Well, how about this? If you put down $20 on PrizePicks and you had an opportunity to win $200, guess what? You're going to be locked and loaded into that game. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. If you're wondering, Mitch, what are your picks for the big game? Well, these are what I am rolling with. Isaiah Pacheco, more than one. He's got to get a touchdown. 7 straight games. Brock Purdy needs 12 rushing yards. Mahomes needs 1 passing yard. Kyle Juszczyk needs 1 reception. If all of those things happen, I'm putting $200 in my pocket. And there's a reason why PrizePicks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. There's a reason why that when you have a chance to win up to 25 times your money with quick withdrawals, that it's so popular. And I was using PrizePicks way before that they were a sponsor on the Raiders Report. For those who, way before it was cool. And I'm talking back in the old school days. I'm a fantasy football guy at heart. And when I get a sponsor like PrizePicks, I think it's a big old pat on the back. So if you want to go try them out, it's prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, y'all. Who's going to be the Raiders' starting quarterback in 2024? It's the big-time question here on today's show. And what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to rank them. The people that are the most likely from 10 all the way down to 1. And Shazam, you don't even know it yet, but you're in. And if you're like, Mitch, what am I in for? I got something fun planned today. So our 2 biggest MVPs from the month of January were Justin Abgen and Matt Fluhey. So if you send in a super chat today, that says thank you to Justin Abgen. If it says thank you to Matt Fluhey, I got a little mimosa action going on today. Because I'll be honest, I didn't really want to drink a Zon milkshake. I'm just going to be honest with you, Zon. But I got a little bit of a mimosa to wash this down. So we're going to crack that open. It is my weekend tomorrow, which I am hyped for. Also, Alex told me she's making dinner tonight. So that means I get to come home. Giggity. And then I get to have some food. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about this. You ready? Should I aim it at you? Every $5 super chat. I can't get this. You're entered in to win this. So for those that don't know, David Zahn has been an absolute legend, okay? An absolute legend. I can't get this, bro. I don't know if it's just, it's in there. As you guys can see, you got to get it. I can't get it right now. Maybe my hands are wet. Winner, if you send in a $5 super chat, you're going to be entered in to win a David Zahn Raiders jersey. So Zahn's been an absolute legend here in these streets for a long time, and I've always thought it'd be kind of cool if, there's jerseys out there for Max Crosby, Robert Spillane, Nate Hobbs, you name it, there's a jersey out there. I think it'd be really cool if we start with, I'm rocking a Ryan Soup jersey right now. How cool would it be to see, a Raider fan rocking a Zahn? You're just walking around Allegiant Stadium, and there's a guy that's got a Zahn jersey on. To me, I think that's a really awesome and beautiful thing. So if you send in a $5 super chat today, you're going to be entered in for our David Zahn jersey raffle. We're going to be giving that one out at the very, very end of today's show. Also, every $10 super chat that comes in, I have it's not easy, dude. I think it's been in the fridge for too long. Yeah, somebody go get the claw. Every 10, you're going to be entered in for a Raiders helmet raffle. I got a full-size Raiders helmet. It's going to be signed by Jeremy and I. I've had a few fans recently say, hey, man, can you potentially sign some gear for us? So that's going to be that. And then every time somebody sends in a $100, since it is Friday, I'm going to do a beer bong, or somebody here from Chat Sports is going to do a beer bong. It's Friday. Let's get the party started. And you're going to be entered in for our February bang competition. Coop just asked if we're banging today. Sienna said, can Chugs not open it either? No. I'm actually concerned because do mimosas go bad? Can they go bad? It's an honest question. I know orange juice can go bad. So that's been in the fridge for, I don't even know how long it's been in there for. And the last time that we had that mimosa, we literally just pulled the cork right out. Bro, I'm telling you right now, that thing was not moving. It's been months is probably my guess. Did we get it? Oh, dad strength. When you get 3 kids, you get strong. Every kid you have, you just get stronger. You just get stronger and stronger. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. We got OC Raiders says, put me in. OC, you in. You in. And I'll also say you can pick any number you want on the jersey. The reason why it's 75 is because my long Zon jersey is also 75, so I thought that'd be kind of a cool thing to do. So OC Raider, you in. Carter Harlow, I'll go for it. You are also in. So right now we got 3 people in. We're going to do this at the very end of the show. For the Raiders $10 raffle helmet, that raffle is actually going to be at the end of February. So that one is end of February. The Zon jersey is today. Did we get it? We got it. I know you had to, but the last one that I had like this, the last one that we had, I mean, it was right out. No problem at all. Oh! Raider fans matter! Bang! Let's go. You want a shout out here on the Raiders Report. Also, the Las Vegas Raiders have officially hired a running back coach, Deshaun Foster. There we go. Deshaun Foster. So last year, the Raiders running back coach was Kennedy Polamalu, previously of the Minnesota Vikings, comes on over, was part of that regime, and now the Raiders have officially just hired former Panthers and 49ers running back coach Deshaun Foster. And I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds a lot like David Zon. Bang! 2 for 2. All right, I got one. Zon, also, you in. I mean, I'm ready right now. Are you going to let it cool off a little bit? I'm going to pour one up here real quick. Honestly, I think I'm going to make a short on that as well, if that's all right with you. Can you hop on real quick? I'm going to make a short on the breaking news that just happened. Also, I don't know why, but Cruising All Day, you can like his super, but you can't like anybody else's. That's weird, isn't it? So now they just did it again where now you can like it again. Oh, I can like Killa's. I can't like anybody else's. That's crazy. Crazy. Grade the hiring of Kliff Kingsbury. Let Chugs know down below. I'm going to make a quick video here real quick on the Raiders hiring a new running back coach in Deshaun Foster.
Let me know your grade for the Raiders hiring Kliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator. A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know down in the comment section. I have A's from Joe Gatlin, Papa T, Anthony, Cloud, Taino, Carter, Vincenzo, Grawl, Yoda, Rebel Montana, Mooncage, Banana Bros, Eric Cobbs, Sienna, a B from Mr. Raider Nation, a C from Running with Scissors, B plus from B Rabe. I mean, when your name's B, you gotta give it a B, right? Joel says an A. Hermal says A. Hermal says AAA. You might want to check your AAA. You said AAA. I don't know if you have a flat tire, but all good. Raider J says A. Deacon says A++++. Luis Rodriguez gives it an A. Barber Jasper. You've been messing me up, Barber Jasper, because I see B Jasper, and I immediately want to say Brandon. Jeff Abramowitz. We have Juice 89. A lot of A's. Looks like a good hire for the Las Vegas Raiders. Cruising. Let me get 2 Zon and 1 for the helmet. All right, Cruz. Cruising all day says, put me in twice for that Zon jersey. Put me in twice for that Zon jersey. We got you, Killa. D. Hayes, $15. Oh, he wants 3 entries into the David Zahn jersey. Let's go. Sergeant Fighter. Love the nation. I appreciate all the love and prayers for the mom of the sergeant. I love everything that the Raiders is doing right now. Put more to the nation and Chugs and Mitch. Let's go. Keep Mama Elma in your prayers. All love, Sergeant Fighter, with the $22.22 super chat. A classic. A classic here at the Raiders Report, Mr. Sergeant Fighter. Gary says, what numbers are left? I don't think a ton. I think we're very limited with what numbers we have left to give out. We're, I think, almost filled all the way up. Almost filled all the way up. Luis couldn't join yesterday because we were celebrating my son Alejandro's first birthday. Congratulations. Congratulations, Luis. Can I get a quick shout out? Raiders! And I'm in. Shout out to Alejandro. Great dad. In Luis Rodriguez. Raiderman01. Keep your picks. Draft right tackle. Fuaga at 13. Get Fields. Just win, baby. Fuaga, one of the winners from the Senior Bowl, it looks like. He did pretty well in Mobile. Could he be the Raiders' pick at 13, though? I don't know. He's looking to be one of the better power offensive linemen in this year's draft. And Raider Stein. You know, it's actually the monster of Raider Stein. Raider Stein was the doctor. The monster of Raider Stein is actually what we're all thinking of. Fun fact. And another fun thing to talk about is who's going to be the Raiders quarterback next year. We already got one person saying Justin Fields in a super chat. So I want to know, from these 3 options, who seem like to be the most likely options for who's going to be the Raiders QB next year? Who you got? Is it Justin Fields type JF? Is it Jaden Daniels type JD? Caleb Williams type CW? Or other type O? Let me know down in the comment section right now. We got JF from the Ahmads cruising. Benny, Patrick B, Joe Gatlin, Brad, all saying JF. We have a Cousins from Hugo Chavez. Big Luck and Mikey are saying Jaden Daniels. Let's see. CW from Raider Fan. Mooncage is going with JD. Donald with JF. Kevin with JD. The Postmaster says JD as well. A lot of JDs rolling in the chat. And I see this one coming in from somebody who's been a real one the past month, for sure. It's Real Cowboy 307. Super chat just so Chugs can say Penix. I don't get it. Thank you for the super chat, Real Cowboy. He wants 5 entries into the David Zahn jersey raffle. Somebody's getting a Zahn jersey. Today. I don't get it. I mean, they want me to say the quarterback from Washington. I'll say it as much as you want, but I just hope, turns into a good quarterback. I feel like sky's the limit for Penix. Sky's the limit. Let me know, who do you think will be the Raiders' next quarterback, or who do you want to be the Raiders' next quarterback next season? JF for Fields, CW for Caleb Williams, JD for Jaden Daniels, or O for other. Get down there and let me know in the comments section right now.
All right, I am back. Sorry, y'all. I had to make a quick video here. The Las Vegas Raiders, they hired Deshaun Foster to be their running back coach. I just put out a short. They also are hiring DeAndre Carter to be a pass rush specialist as well. It's been confirmed by Ian Rappaport. So what you see again is another perfect example of the Las Vegas Raiders going out, and they are hiring coaches that also have some playing experience. And I think it's one of the things that Antonio Pierce obviously has got to believe in because he was an old player. You're able to have those communications that, let's face it, people who didn't play in the NFL are probably unable to have. So just another word of advice there. Las Vegas Raiders, they just hired 2 brand new coaches. Video is out on our YouTube channel. It's also on my social media if you want to go check it out. Barber, if you guys can sign Jacobs, or Barkley, who would you guys sign now that we have a new OC? Who will fit better with him? I don't really think that there's that much bigger of a difference between Barkley and Jacobs in terms of fit in a Kliff Kingsbury style of offense. Like, Barkley's probably the better pass catcher, is a better pass catcher than Jacobs, but I'm still going to stick with Jacobs because you're going to have to pay both of these guys probably about the same amount of money. And why would you pay Saquon Barkley if it's $12 million a year, $10 million a year, when he has no relationship whatsoever with Antonio Pierce, and Antonio Pierce has called Jacobs the heart and soul of this team? So to me personally, if you're going to allocate that type of money to a running back, you just do it with Josh Jacobs, who is already your guy. I hear your question. To me, it's more of like, would you rather re-sign Josh Jacobs for, let's say, $8 or $9 million, or would you rather go with the guy that Tom Telesco likes a lot and worked very successful on his team, like Austin Eckler, at a little bit of a discount? Like, that to me would probably be the better free agent running back comparison, if you will. Keep these supers flowing. I owe a beer bong here. I've yet to take one down. My body might hate me a little bit for this. Oh, man. Sergeant Fighter, you're 555. I'm getting told that I don't know if I can put it up on screen. All right, real quick. All right. All right, man. Cheers to the nation. We got a bunch of segments happening on today's show. Over 1,000 people here in the building. And one more time, these are our Friday Super Chat menu deals. If you say thank you to Justin Abjad or Matt Fluhey, we're taking a drink to that. We got some mimosas here poured up. If you want a chance to win a David Zahn jersey, $5 Super Chat. If you want a chance to win a Raiders helmet, it is a full-size Raiders helmet signed by Chugs and I. It's going to go at the very, very end of the month, $10 to get in that bad boy. And if you want to bang and do a beer bong with the whole nation, well then, hey, 100, and you're entered in our February Bang competition. If you want a shout out here on the Raiders Report, how about this? Since I didn't read Sergeant Fighter's Super Chat, I want you all to spam Penix or Penix right now down below, and Chugs is going to give some shout outs. I owe a beer bong, though, to the person who tries to get this party started. Raider fans matter. Shout out to you, my brother.
Where my Penix fans at? Where my Penix fans at? Let me know. We got Lynn, Joe, Mooncage, Ethan, Roger, Jesse, Scott, Ethan, all fans of the Penix.
Nice. Nice. If somebody wants to go get Brett. Hey, Brett, you ready? You got a beer bong in you? Brett's going like this. Brett says, I absolutely have a beer bong in me. Also, this mimosa, I'm a little curious to see if it's still good. I don't know.
I told you. I was like, I don't know, man. That's been in there for a little bit. And Mitch...
Can you try it?
Mitch goes, mimosa doesn't go bad.
You got to try it. Somebody go get Sam, see if it tastes like it's... Oh, DK, you've probably had mimosas. Can you try this? Tell me if it's still good. Is that still good? Honest question. I can't tell. I did just chug a beer. We'll ask our mimosa queen. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, it's not going to kill you. That's a lot of confidence right there.
Does it drive well?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's not going to kill you.
That reminds me when Alex and I were in Mexico, and she was getting ready to do the zip line, and she goes, is it safe? And the guy's like,
oh,
yeah. All right.
Here we go.
Brett Scott, party on Garth. Party on Garth here. Beer bong time from David Zahn. I'll tell you this. I don't know what you guys do for work, but I'm glad that you guys decide to pull up and hang out with us. Shout out to Brett Scott, father of 3. taking down a beer bong. Solo dad this week. Going to India.
A lot of butter chicken.
Oh, that sounds great right now.
A lot of
Butter chicken in India. Is it? I don't.
Next,
wait.
you're going to tell me orange chicken isn't Chinese food.
I know. There's no way. You're telling me they don't have. You're telling me Panda Express. There's no way. There's no way. That's like saying Taco Bell isn't authentic. Everything I've talked to Alex about, she says, you want fine dining in Mexico, it's Taco Bell.
Ooh, cheesy gordita crunch, just like my grandma used to make.
A cheesy gordita crunch like my grandma used to make. Holy shit, that's funny.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
Oh, well, if you're having multiple, it's falafel.
It's like octopi. Now I get it.
All right, everybody say bye to Party on Garth, a.k.a. Boss Brett.
Shout out to Party on Garth. Every hundo we banging. Nico Laz, Mexican pizza. That sounds good. Dude, I would 100%. Like, chicken parm is the most authentic Italian dish you can find.
Oh.
There's not a doubt in my mind.
Just like my Nona used to make.
Not a doubt. B-Rabe, orange chicken is an American creation, Chug. See, I can't wrap my mind around that. I don't know if I believe it. Tim, what's up, man? When you run out of numbers for jerseys, you could go through the cycle again, but use a different color and one of the numbers or the name. What's crazy is it's exactly what we're going to do. And what's even crazier is we are 3 numbers away from being filled up 00 to 99. Now, there are a few people that have multiple jerseys. There are a few people that have jerseys of like the same number. I would say right now we have probably close to 125 Raiders report jerseys. Some of them are Chug's. Some of them are mine. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy where we're getting to. But we are 3 numbers away from having all the numbers filled out. And then once we have all the numbers filled out, then we're going to start trying to add some more. I've also flirted with the idea of if you have a jersey and if you want me to keep it type of thing, like some of the jerseys I've had for a little over a year. Like if Tri-Van, he's got 2 jerseys at number 24. If he wants a 24 jersey, Chugs and I will sign it. We'll send it to him. If you want your jersey that I've rocked here on the show, I'll send it to you. If you want me to just keep it and continue to wear it, then I'll keep it going. What's up, Tristan? Love the show. Love you guys. Let me get an entry for that helmet. LFG and Raiders. Appreciate it, man. It's a Revo Speed helmet, I believe is the one. Revo. Is it really Revo?
I think so.
Revo. Either one. Revo Montana, Revo Montana. That's what I think of. But I also saw somebody say, is 84 still available? No. The only jerseys that are available, hang on, let me pull up my spreadsheet here real quick. 36, 59, and 68. Those are the only 3 numbers available. I have literally every single number, who it is, what number they are. It's kind of incredible. I'm not going to lie. The person who's 84 just got it, Ryan Campbell, who's actually also this. Funny enough. What up, Reno? Mitch, could hiring too many former head coaches backfire? They used to leading, but now they have a rookie head coach. I would say this. Go back and look at the Los Angeles Rams coaching staff. I'm trying to think of what year it was exactly, but they did the exact same thing where their idea was, okay, can I get a bunch of cooks in the kitchen? This is an idea that I've talked about before, where it was instead of having just one guy call all the shots, they had a bunch of people and said, all right, there's still one guy in charge. It's going to be Kliff Kingsbury, but still they wanted to have just the more and more people that they thought were smart individuals in terms of getting that offense going. I wish I could remember I'll try to do the research on what year the Rams brought in a bunch of former head coaches, OCs, to run their offense, and it worked out really, really well. But no, I'm not worried about it because they're choosing to come play here with a guy like Antonio Pearson. That's exactly what's going to happen. Speaking of what's going to happen, I mean, it's just death taxes and Justin Evgen Bay. up, Abjin? I'll take my 45 jersey signed by y'all if you want to free up that one. You got it. You got it. I'll put that down right now. Let me mark that so I don't forget. I'm going to put a nice little asterisk by it. There we go. You got it, my man. You got it. Abjin wants a beer bong right now. Here's the thing, though. I ain't doing it by myself. And you know what? If you're at home right now and you have the opportunity to pour one up with me, you better do it. Because if you don't, this guy right here, he's going to come find you. And this is a dude that I'm telling you right now, you do not want him showing up at your doorstep.
James effing Lillard.
You see this man right here, you don't mess with this man. This man is the most interesting man in the world. This is a guy where he walks down a dark alley and Chuck Norris quivers.
Yes.
James effing Lillard.
He said Kingsbury's offense doesn't use a fullback. Does this mean the end of Jakob Johnson? Unfortunately, I think it does. I think it does. Which there wasn't a guarantee regardless of who was the OC.
He was a free agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I believe there's only 11 teams that utilize a fullback still in the NFL. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere around that number. And with Kliff Kingsbury's style of offense, there is no need to continue to roll out a fullback. I mean, Jakob Johnson was a fun player. He was a good player. He did his job well. He really helped Jacobs have that career year 2 years ago. But now there's no need now to hang on to Jakob Johnson. And, I said this one before too. What's always interesting is, and I think why you should watch this show and why you should watch a lot of content in the offseason is because you can follow rumors, you can follow, I call it tea leaves, and you kind of follow like that path. I mean, one of the things that Antonio Pierce said during his press conference, and I said it, was everything Antonio Pierce just said in this press conference sounds like it is Kliff Kingsbury and it's going to be him. They want to do all these things. And then I've also said, because of what AP said, because they want to add more speed, vertical passing offense, I do think that a player that could potentially be traded that, I don't really know if a lot of Raider fans think it's possible. I think Jacoby Myers, who's a good player, is going to be one of those dudes that the Raiders try to move on from this year because he's not going to fit their vertical passing game that the Raiders are going to try to implement this season. Let's go to my man Caruzin. Is Deshaun the father of Adrian Foster? Yeah, I think you mean Arian Foster. He is not. It's a good question, though. Raider Josh, you do a Japanese soju boot sometime on the next stream. Raiders in the chat. What on earth is that? I mean, I got to look it up now. I'm almost soju boot? Hang on a second here. It almost looks like sake. Maybe it looks interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Zalesbo, I will take mine signed. I have one with you and Chugs. You got it. So, do you have a number preference? 69, which is the one Jeremy has, or 96? Well, there's two. You have one. I think you have one that's 69, and I have one that's 96. If my memory serves me correct. I mean, that's what I have written down here. Because there's two 69s, Hellcat Q, and then the second one, which we usually do second ones for you. So, Lesbo, I'll send you mine. 96. We'll free up that one as well. But appreciate that. And Zalesbo, you in. All right, Jeremy. I think it's time to get into a little bit of Raiders content today. What about y'all? What do you guys think? A little bit of Raiders content. You might as well drink moonshine. Is that what soju is? It's like moonshine. It's like Everclear. An Everclear boot of that. I mean, that's not healthy. That's literally death and taxes. That one's not going to happen. Soju is Korean famous vodka. When I say there, it is dangerous. Now, I'm not going to do it. I don't like regular vodka, so I'm going to imagine that I really don't like this vodka. Yeah, I think out of all the liquor, vodka is probably my least favorite. I would say I'm a big whiskey drinker, old-fashioned. That's my drink of choice. After that, mezcal is probably my next thing that I would pick. And then after that, tequila. And then after that, I'm probably just going to drink beer or something else. I'll probably pass. Yeah, whiskey's my go-to. All right, y'all. So coming up here on the show, this has been a segment that I have been wanting to do for a long time. Do I like rum for Curtis? The only time I will drink rum if it's in like a pina colada and I'm on a beach. Besides that, any drink that has rum in it, I'd probably just rather drink it with tequila or mezcal. That's just me being honest with you. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to go through all of my quarterback rankings for Kliff Kingsbury. So we're going to go from 10, work our way down to one of who I think is the most likely to be the Las Vegas Raiders starting quarterback in 2024. And I'll tell you right now, I don't think it's the guy that you think that it is. Then we're going to get into some smoke around Caleb Williams, because if you haven't been following around this whole situation the past 24 hours, well, you're going to be a lot of smoke around Caleb. That's all I'm saying. And then we're going to get into some Senior Bowl winners and losers. That's going to be coming up here on the Raiders Report. Zalesbo says, can I get both? Of course. They're yours. You can have whatever you want. Zalesbo, I'll mark it down. We'll send you both of them. I love it. You ready? Y'all ready? If you haven't already, click that like button. We're turning up today. It's Friday. We're having a good day. Shout out to Matthew Fluhey. Shout out to my man David Zahn. Shout out to Justin Abgen for making the show a lot of fun and for always showing love to the nation. Let's get this thing going. Raider Nation, it's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, I'm going to be ranking which quarterback is the most likely to be the starting QB for the Silver and Black in 2024. I'm going to have them ranked from 10 all the way down to 1. I do want to make this note, though. This is not the QB that I believe is the best fit for Kliff Kingsbury. It is my opinion. It is my prediction. If I were to make a bet right now and say, Mitch, who's going to be the starter? That's what this list is. I got it right last year with Aiden O'Connell. Got it right with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think I've been pretty good at this segment. So I'm just saying, whoever ends up number 1, people are talking here. If you're excited for football this season, but not only football, Raiders football. And don't get me wrong, man. I am excited every single year. And even though when the Raiders had Josh McDaniels, I'd always try to figure out a way to say, all right, I like where the team's going here. Even back in the days with John Gruden when they were doing some questionable things, I still was able to get myself hyped up because I love the Raiders and I love hanging out with y'all. But honest to God, I have done this show for 4 years and I've put out a video every day. This is by far the most excited offseason that I have ever had here on this show. I have never loved the head coach more than I loved Antonio Pierce. I've never loved what a coaching staff has done. I still want to see what they do at QB, and hopefully they listen to me and they take one of the top quarterbacks that I have on my list here. And if you feel the same way, subscribe. We're going to have a lot of fun this offseason. All right, let's go to these quarterback rankings here. Coming in at number 10, it is the guy who started the most games last season, Aiden O'Connell. And Aiden's got to make this list. And the reason why Aiden has to be in the top 10 options is because, well, he is literally the only quarterback that I believe is going to be on the roster starting next season. I know Anthony Brown's technically signed a reserve contract. He's not going to be there. The Raiders are going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo. The Raiders are going to cut Brian Hoyer, which means just from an overall betting odds, predictions standpoint, if you were to put out the top 10 odds, you'd be dumb to not have Aiden O'Connell on that list. And honestly, I might even have Aiden a little bit too low, but I just don't think in a Kliff Kingsbury offense and a spread offense, it makes any sense whatsoever for you to be able to go back to AOC. Will he be a backup quarterback on this team? Potentially. I'll be honest, I don't really think he fits what Kliff is trying to do, but he should be on this list, and he comes in here at number 10. Let's go to number 9 on my list for Raiders quarterback rankings, Baker Mayfield. Yes, Baker Mayfield. Mayfield does have some experience playing with Kliff Kingsbury in years past, and we have seen anytime NFL head coaches get certain guys, well, maybe they're interested. On top of that, you got to be able to give Mayfield his flowers here. He had 28 touchdowns this past season, 10 interceptions, over 4,000 yards, was able to win a playoff game, and I don't know if he necessarily fits exactly what I think the Raiders are going to do in terms of their vertical passing attack and trying to find more of a mobile quarterback. Baker's not mobile, but he can move when being pressured. My point is this. If you told me right now the Raiders ended this offseason with Baker Mayfield as their quarterback, I would say it's a very disappointing offseason. However, if you get into a pinch and some shit goes wrong and you think it's going to be able to go a certain way, Could they look at Baker? I will still say that I believe Mayfield's going to be under center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season. But you know what? This is the main comment here. This is the big granddaddy of them all. You're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. And while you're getting hit with that YouTube ad break, I'm going to be honest with you. Let the ad play. Every time. It helps me and Jeremy out a lot. So while that ad is playing, scroll on down, put your vote in. Who is going to be the Raiders starting quarterback in 2024? My answer, well, you'll see who's number 1 on the list. Coming up here at number 8, it is Drake May from North Carolina. And for those of you that watch the show, you'll know that May is my favorite quarterback in this year's class. And if the Raiders ended up drafting him, I would absolutely love it. I have also said, though, that from all the QB prospects, if they're going to trade up, I have an inkling that they wouldn't trade up for May just based on relationships that the Raiders already have. So the reason why May's coming in here at 8 is just because we know how difficult it's going to be for the Silver and Black to trade up and try to get into the top 3 picks, let alone if they get into the top 3 picks. I think they're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. May is an extremely talented QB, and he did not have the best season this past year, but that's more just because the talent on the North Carolina Tar Heels was garbage. Last year, in 2022, when he actually had a few receivers that went to the NFL, and I would say had NFL talent around him, he showcased his arm. He showcased the ability. His accuracy sometimes can be a little sporadic, but he's a lot better of an athlete than people give him credit for. Drake May is going to come in here on my list at number 8, which means coming up here next at number 7, and I think this is going to be a name that a lot of people are going to be very controversial over this entire offseason. It's Oregon quarterback Bo Nix. I have seen the reports that Telesco likes Nix, but again, this is starting quarterback options in 2024. I believe if the Raiders end up taking Nix out of Oregon, he's not your starter this year. You will still need to be able to go out and add a free agent quarterback because, let's face it, Nix is simply not ready to play at the NFL level. He was one of the biggest losers from the Senior Bowl this past week, and I get it. He had a hell of a season with the Ducks back in 2023, and considering where he was with Auburn and where he is now, I mean, there's a lot of improvement in that. But I just can't wrap my mind around a good NFL evaluator, a good NFL draft talent evaluator saying that Bo Nix deserves to go in round 1. Bo Nix does not deserve to go in round 1 for the Raiders. It would be a bad move for them. I know some people are going to disagree with that. That's okay. I just think that if there's one position that I've gotten right throughout my entirety of my career, it's been at the quarterback position. I'm going to tell you who's number 6 on our list in just a second, but I do got to show some love to today's sponsor, PrizePicks, and I love me some PrizePicks. And I think, honestly, anybody who's already tried PrizePicks, you're like, dude, this is so much fun. And it is fun. It's easy. It's exciting. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. And all you got to do is choose more or less on players. And you can pick 2+ players. You can play NBA, NFL games. And once the NFL ends, literally any sport is almost available on PrizePicks. I know a lot of people like golf as well. So if you want to get started, it's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Just make sure that you use code CLNS on top of that. And for a lot of people that don't want to watch the Super Bowl, well, guess what? Watch the Super Bowl. Go get started with PrizePicks. Put some money down. You got an opportunity to win. Like, I think this right now gives me a good chance to win. This is 20 to win 200. If somebody looks at that and goes, yeah, I'm on board for that, go put your money where your mouth is. And when I think about how far this show has come, right? When you think about when you first start doing a show, but you also start thinking like, I remember watching PrizePicks and I saw it on TV. This is like 3 years ago. And then I got started and I loved it. I do it all the time. And then when they were like, hey, Mitch, we want to sponsor the Raiders Report, I mean, that's one of the biggest pat on the backs I can possibly get. So I'm telling you right now, shout out to all of y'all for making PrizePicks possible. I have used it for a long time, and I know once you start, you're going to have a lot of fun, especially when you have to watch a game between two teams that you do not want either of those teams to win. So one more time here, it's prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Let's go to number 6 here. It's Michael Penix Jr., quarterback out of Washington. And Penix was probably one of the best quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl, but I still, from people that I talked to, didn't love what they saw from him. And when you think about the last 2 seasons in college, I mean, there's not many quarterbacks that put up the numbers that he was able to put up. I will admit the injury history scares the heck out of me. There's going to be a lot of red flags in that. He is up there in age on top of that. He's a lefty, which maybe is not a big deal for some of y'all, but I do think it has to go into the evaluation for a team like the Raiders of, okay, We have Colton Miller as a left tackle. We technically do not have a right tackle right now. And you're going to spend that money on the blind side. And a lot of times when you have a lefty quarterback, your offensive tackles cost more because if you're Colton Miller, you're like, well, I still want to get paid left tackle money because that's usually the blind side of a QB. And if you're not going to pay me that, I'll just go somewhere else. But then if you also have a lefty QB, you got to be able to pay that right tackle, left tackle money because now they have to protect the blind side. I think Penix has got some ups, he's got some downs, but overall, I still would not be confident if the Raiders started Michael Penix Jr. to be their guy this upcoming season. So I still think that you might even have to sit him for a year. I do think he might end up going in round 1. For me, though, again, if I'm the Raiders, I'm not taking Michael Penix Jr., I'm not taking Bo Nix, I'm not taking J.J. McCarthy in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Let's go to number 5 here on the list. And to me, there are 2 free agent quarterbacks, and I know Russell Wilson is not a free agent yet. However, he will be released by the Denver Broncos this offseason. As soon as the Broncos cut him, he is going to get $89 million, which means to me, I believe he's going to take a team-friendly type of deal because he cares more about his legacy than he does winning money, considering the fact of how much money Sierra makes, considering the fact of how much money he's already made. And I'm a believer that Russell Wilson signs a $1.21 million vet minimum deal to stick it to the Broncos. If you're like, Mitch, how does him taking less money stick it to the Broncos? Whatever contract he signs this year, the Broncos also get a credit for. So if he signs a contract for $40 million, the Broncos get $40 million in a credit that they can use the following year. If he signs a deal for $1.21, well, that means the Broncos get $1.21. When you're a guy like Russell Wilson, and I get it, he's a cornball, it'd be a bad fit in the locker room. I'll be real, I don't love the fit. But if you told me right now that I can find a potential top 12 quarterback at that price tag that also has the ability to be able to run around and be mobile, I definitely think it's something that you should entertain the idea with. Coming in here at number 4, it is Kirk Cousins. And I will admit, if Clint Kubiak would have been the OC, and Kubiak is now the new OC with the New Orleans Saints, I'll say that if Kubiak would have been the OC, Cousins would have been a lot higher on this list, even higher than 4. But the reason why he's so high up here on this list is because he is the top quarterback in free agency. And if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, and let's say you try to trade up to a top 3 pick, but you swing and a miss. Let's say you don't get Justin Fields or a quarterback like that. Well, then you might have to look to this option in Cousins. And Cousins, yes, coming off the pop Achilles. I would be hesitant because he is looking for apparently $45 million per year guaranteed type of money. Coming off, again, that popped Achilles. And if you're the Raiders and you're like, all right, I got to install a brand new offense with Kliff Kingsbury, I might not have a quarterback that can practice my entire offseason. It just gives me deja vu vibes of what they went through last offseason with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I want a quarterback in the first year of Kliff Kingsbury that can work with its players, receivers, offensive line, tight ends, I don't care who the hell it is, the entire offseason. I don't want a dude that just shows up in July and then has to get his footing and get everything going. That's just too late. It's also way too much to risk. I'll get into my top 3 options here in just a second. And realistically, any of these next 3 I'd be very, very happy about. But for those that do not know, Chugs and I, we're going to be doing a big game watch party in Las Vegas. If you want to know where, it's at the Ahern Luxury Hotel inside at the Ahern Live Showroom. When? Sunday, February 11th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Here's the address if you want to be able to write it down. If you want to reserve a spot, I need you to go to this link down below, chatsports.com/biggame. That link's going to also be available to you down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. If you want to attend, it is 100% for free. I just recommend that you try to reserve a spot because what I don't want is for you to show up and then all the spots are booked. So if you're like, Mitch, I really, really want to go, $99 for the happy hour pass, VIP pass is $149. But with these passes, you get all you can eat, all you can drink, and with the VIP pass, you have a better opportunity to actually join the Raiders Report live with Jeremy Chugs and I. Hope to see you there. FKC, F the Niners, pull up, chatsports.com/biggame. Let's go to number 3 here on my list for Raiders quarterback rankings in 2024. Jaden Daniels. And the Heisman Trophy winner probably has the best relationship out of any of the other 2 quarterbacks with Antonio Pierce and with assistant head coach Marvin Lewis. And this one has been in the works, I think, for a very long time. The problem is, I don't know if the Raiders are going to be able to trade up to number 3. And that's just the bold, hard fact where it's not as likely to trade up to a top 3 pick that a lot of people think, and that's coming from me, right? Like, I know what I want the Raiders to do. I do think, though, based off of the moves that the Raiders have made from a coaching staff standpoint and based off of the way that Antonio Pierce has operated this ship since he's been the interim, he's going to trust his guys. And I know Jaden Daniels, who, when he gave his Heisman Trophy speech, mentioned Antonio Pierce. He mentioned Marvin Lewis. Jaden Daniels is in the Raiders locker room after Week 18. There has been a lot of smoke around their relationship. The Antonio Pierce, Marvin Lewis, they follow Jaden Daniels. They don't follow this next guy coming in here at number 2, which is Caleb Williams. And the sole fact that Williams is ranked at number 2 over Jaden is because this is based on Kliff Kingsbury, where, yeah, it's probably still going to be the final say goes to Antonio Pierce. The final say still goes to Tom Telesco. But if Kliff walks in that room and he goes, hey, you hired me to be the OC, and if you want me to be able to run my ship, I want to go with Caleb Williams. And I'm not going to be upset if they do that. Does he have bust potential? Yes. Every single player in the NFL draft, every quarterback has bust potential. But you know what? This guy's been comped to Patrick Mahomes. You know who used to work with Patrick Mahomes? Kliff Kingsbury. So if you're trying to take down the man on top of the mountain, maybe sometimes it's a copycat league. If we can find a copycat of Patrick Mahomes, you're crazy if you don't want something like that. I'm not saying like that's how it's going to turn out. That's how it's going to pan out. Nobody knows how it's going to pan out. But if Kliff Kingsbury wants a quarterback that he worked with previously, that knows can fit his system, and that to me is the reason why I had Caleb at 2 and Jaden Daniels at 3. But as I have stated, it is not going to be easy for the Las Vegas Raiders to trade up and get a QB, which is why I think the most likely option, if you told me, Mitch, who is going to be the Raiders starting quarterback in 2024, if I had to push my chips in the middle of the table, I would say it's going to be Justin Fields. And the reason why that I think it's going to be Justin Fields is because of the compensation. You're not going to have to give up multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks. I believe that it's going to be like a second, maybe a second with a comp. If he gets hurt, it turns into a third-round pick along the lines of that. On top of that, if you're the Raiders, I don't think that you want to piss off Champ Kelly. And I'm not saying piss him off because he didn't get the job. He is still there as an assistant GM. Well, Champ Kelly's going to want to have a conversation. And I do think that Fields would be an intriguing fit in a Kliff Kingsbury style of offense. On top of that, not only can he get it done with his arms, he can get it done with his legs, which I would love to see in a spread. Again, he's got a strong arm. It fits a lot of the things that he can do well. You're going to see a lot of screens. He's a good screen quarterback. You're going to see a lot more running than what people think. He can run the football. And Kliff, if I'm looking at Kliff, I go, well, why Kyler Murray? And I know Kyler Murray and Justin Fields are very two different quarterbacks, but they have the athletic ability that I do think is similar in certain regards where you can use some of the things that you learned from working with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, working with a guy like a Kyler Murray, and you put some of that together, Caleb Williams, and you go, all right, can I get Justin Fields at a cheaper rate to potentially turn into one of those quarterbacks? Because Fields has got all the talent in the world. He's been in bad situations, and right now, he hasn't been able to put it together. Is it a risk? Yes. But if you're also talking about risk, he's 24 years old, right? Like, he's younger than Aiden O'Connell. So if you want to just take a younger quarterback and you don't have to risk as much, it's a $6 million cap hit, and then it would be $22 million if you decide to give him his fifth-year option the following season. Justin Fields is the most likely option to be the Raiders' starting quarterback in 2024. Book it. So pick a QB out of my top 3. Who do you think is the most likely option? Most likely option to be the Raiders quarterback this season. If you think it's Justin Fields, I want you to type JF. If you think it's Jaden Daniels, I want you to type JD. If you think it's Caleb Williams, go with CW. Or if you believe it's an entirely different quarterback, type O for other. One more time here, let's roll through my quarterbacks that I believe are the most likely to be the starter for the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024. Coming in here at number 10, it's Aiden O'Connell. At number 9, Baker Mayfield. At number 8, Drake May. Bo Nix at 7. Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. at 6. Then some veterans, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins at 5 and 4. Your 2 rookies, Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. And then at number 1, Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields. You, sir, are a Raider. For more updates and more news around Las Vegas, subscribe. We've been putting out a bunch more shorts. And if there's anybody that I missed, let me know. I know I'm going to get some people say, hey, what about Joe Milton? Hey, what about Jordan Travis? What about J.J. McCarthy? To me, none of those quarterbacks are even close to being starters, which is why they were not ranked in my top 10. Predict the Raiders' record next year. Without a QB, this is a bold one.
Yeah, just shoot from the hip.
If it doesn't matter, 17-0. Now, I would say I would hope 10 wins. 10 wins would be a good benchmark. The Raiders were 6-11 with McDaniels. Then they went 8-9. You can improve it again by 10.
And don't get me wrong.
You get to 12.
It's not past me that this is an absolutely ridiculous question.
Okay. I wouldn't expect anything less.
I do know it's ridiculous. Do you have to change?
I will end up having to change, yes.
All right.
I got a few jerseys.
Let me know your prediction, just blind prediction, so that you can say, oh, beginning of the offseason, I predicted this and it was correct. Because that's always the most fun thing to do. Put your prediction in, maybe screenshot it, save it for later. If the Raiders end up going 12-5 like Jesse said, or 11-6 like Joe said, or 13-4 like Ed Robbins, you can be the guy who's like Ed Robbins and say, you know what? I called that. I called 13-4, or BT 15-2. Yeah, I could see the Raiders 15-2 next year. Keep them coming. Let me know. As Super Chat rolling in from Lord Cameron Abbott. I haven't seen my jersey yet. You might see it later on today or coming up soon. We got a big shipment of jerseys in this week. So Lord Cameron Abbott, stay tuned. Be on the ready because you might be able to see your jersey very, very soon. And Lord Cameron Abbott, you are in for our David Zahn jersey raffle. $5 Super Chat. All you need to do, and you can get in for a chance to win a David Zahn Raiders jersey today. Mount Raidermore legend, David Zahn jersey. Our raffle item for today. Real Cowboy 307 says, with wins with a veteran QB, 10-11 wins with a veteran QB, 8-9 with a rookie quarterback. Okay. I see 17-0 with Caleb Williams, and I see 2-15 with Justin Fields. So very differing opinions there. Very differing opinions there. And I unless there's another one, I saw which one you meant. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Unless there's another one.
Nope, that's the correct one.
Yep.
Ready? This one's rolling in from Ryan Campbell. Bang! All right, that's a boot. I poured it up. I got some Hap Dads in here.
Pour it up.
I got my happy dad in here.
Oh, you didn't change your jersey.
Well, this is Ryan Campbell.
Oh, I thought you were changing your jersey as well. Oh, I guess it makes sense if you're doing the boot.
No, I saw that he sent it in, so I'll do the boot and then I'll change.
Yeah.
Yep. I got you though. I got you. Lord Cameron Abbott. I saw you say something about your jersey, Cameron. Can you message me and tell me like what number and what your last name on it was? Because I'll be honest, I'm very good at tracking all the jerseys. I don't have that one documented unless it's on Venmo. I'll have to look at it. That's me being very transparent with you because that's the only one that I do not see here. So message me and we'll get it straightened out. Message me and we'll get it straightened out. Also, I actually did not know this. Deshaun Foster was the running back coach for Texas Tech back in 2016 for Kliff Kingsbury. So more connections there. Makes some sense. All right, I got to knock this one back. If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, I like this. Spam Zahn. For David Zahn. What up, Darth?
Whew. Darth Fatass says, for Zahn. Huzzah! Huzzah! I am Punchy 33. I saw you have another 33 weeks. I saw you have another 33 a few weeks ago. Want to send me mine? For I am Punchy 30. Yeah, we can send you yours. We're going to start probably doing that here in a little bit. Lord Cameron Abbott, when do you think about picking up Justin Fields and then trading up in the draft and getting Jaden Daniels and having Jaden Daniels learn for 1 year behind Justin Fields? Let me know what you think. I don't think that's plausible or really what the Raiders should or would do, because you're giving up assets to get 2 quarterbacks in the same draft, and the timeline doesn't make sense. Justin Fields isn't a bridge quarterback. He's young.
Correct. Per source, if the Raiders, or not even if the Raiders, if the Chicago Bears are going to trade Justin Fields, it's going to be at the NFL Combine. So the NFL Combine is February 29th to March 3rd, I want to say, is the exact dates. It's something weird. I just know it starts on the 29th. And the reason why that is it's because you get a bunch of GMs, you get a bunch of head coaches, you get a bunch of owners, you get a bunch of people together, and it's 4 days of them being able to talk. I know people that go to it every single year, and drinks are flowing, things happen. And the reason why it usually happens at the Combine or shortly following the Combine is because then teams say, I want to make a deal like this. Like, this is a deal, like this is a domino that needs to fall before free agency. Because if you're the Raiders and you're going to make this trade, you need to know who your quarterback is going into free agency. Like, you got to be able to plan all your things around what you're going to do free agency, the draft, and then, if you have a quarterback like Justin Fields, that's a lot different of an offense compared to Kirk Cousins, compared to Aiden O'Connell, hell, compared to Caleb Williams. Like, you got to be able to build around that guy. So if the Raiders end up trading for Justin Fields, mark my words in this, I'm going to say it's either going to happen during the NFL Combine or it's going to happen shortly after. And that's more of just when you've been in this business for as long as what we have, like, you can, like, read and follow that type of things. Like, I know what I said yesterday where we were like, Kliff Kingsbury, he's going to go to the Commanders, which was a swing and a miss. However, we were told that Kliff was not going to take the job with the Las Vegas Raiders at OC. And hearing that and knowing that, or what did I say? I said Kliff, right? Mm-hmm. I'm getting Kliff Kingsbury and the Kliff Kingsbury's names mixed up. But we were told that Kliff Kingsbury wasn't going to take the Raiders OC job. So knowing that, we were like, all right, like, that's why he ended up hiring Kliff Kingsbury as quick as they did. And then today you saw Kliff Kingsbury. We thought he was going to go to the Washington Commanders because of all those connections, but he ended up going to the New Orleans Saints. So
would have been a better job, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. He would have had a chance to work with a quarterback. But my point is, Kliff randomly getting hired like that, it goes, all right, what exactly happened? Kliff Kingsbury was going to get a job somewhere else. Then what happens today? He gets a new job.
Now that I'm thinking about it, though, it might be a better job for Kliff Kingsbury if he's wanting to become a head coach, because the Commanders just hired Dan Quinn. So
yeah,
it doesn't seem like they're going to move off of him quickly.
Yep. Where
Dennis Allen, his future in New Orleans is a little bit more shaky.
Sure.
So if mid-season, if there's a change, Kliff could get an interim head coaching opportunity.
That's a good point. I didn't even really think of that. That's a very good point. Very, very good point. Yes, for those that do not know, we talked about it maybe like an hour ago at this point. But yes, the Raiders hired Deshaun Foster as a running back coach. They are also going to be hiring DeAndre Carter as a pass rush specialist. That was according to Ian Rappaport. So 2 more coaches that had playing experience now with the silver and black. And I said earlier that Foster coached with Kliff Kingsbury back in 2016 as the running back coach for Texas Tech. Mr. Jasper, sorry I'm late. You got it.
To the party, nation, but I know there is a party every Wednesday. And it's over at Locals for the best content, personal interaction, and weekly pick'ems.
I don't think that's good.
Or no, and weekly live shows.
And more live show. You got to try it. I want your honest opinion. Just give me your honest opinion. Like, I don't know. I think it's weird. And if I'm just being weird, like, it's not bad. Like, it doesn't taste bad. But I also, if I got that at a restaurant, I'd be like, it's not great.
I mean, it's also pre-made.
Sure.
Mimosa.
See, you didn't think, your face says it's not that bad.
No.
Okay.
I think it's just the pre-made mimosa is a little, it's a little zesty.
Okay.
Raider fan 209, what are the chances the Raiders trading up in the draft? Mitch said before that it was around a 10% chance. Are you still at that number? Or with things happening now, is that number changing for you?
So before they hired Kliff Kingsbury, I think you said 10% chance, less than a 10% chance. I mean, it's got to go up a little bit. I mean, there's no doubt. You don't bring in a guy like Kliff, and the Raiders clearly have a plan. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't directly said their plan out loud, but I would say go back to January 15th, and we'll kind of talk about it a little bit today. But if you follow the timeline of a lot of things that happened leading up to this point here, this was always the plan that the Raiders were going to do with Kliff Kingsbury, which to me says they have a plan. And just because you have a plan doesn't mean it's going to happen. I would say right now there is a 15 to 20% chance, let's say 20% chance, that the Raiders now trade up into the top 3 for their quarterback.
Yep.
Still not a high percent chance, but there is one.
Lord Cameron Abbott, he said it's Abbott, and I asked for 80, but it was taken, so I'm not sure about the number, and he did it on Venmo. So
okay,
you can check Cameron Abbott Venmo. We can get that squared away.
I will 100% do that. Sorry, Cameron.
I never know if this is I am Monty or Lamonte.
I could not agree with you more.
We got us as people who speak English and use the English language, got to figure out something to do with uppercase I, lowercase l.
Actually,
because it's getting out of hand. Uppercase I, lowercase l, too similar. Too many fonts, it looks the exact same.
It's actually annoying to be like. Let's be frank here. It's actually annoying.
Let's be Mitch and Chugs first of all, but
all right, fair enough. Abbott, how about this? I just messaged you on Venmo. We're going to go out of the numbers 36, 59, and 68. What do you want? Because like I said, every Wednesday I try to spend my whole day and play catch up, and I'm really pissed off at myself that I missed that.
Yeah.
Because that happened on October 30th.
Whoa.
And if something like that happens, Abbott, do exactly what you did there. Call us out. Like, I don't ever want you to feel like I cheated you, and I am very, very sorry that it's taken me this long and that you haven't seen it. But I got 36, 59, and 68 available. Out of those numbers, which one do you want?
Lamonte says, or I am Monty. Thank you, English language. We really need to go for Fields. There's no realistic way to trade up. And if we do trade up, what do we have left for the future? Get Justin Fields and build around him. We still need lots of pieces, and Justin Fields is a vet. I think you're in a decent spot roster-wise. If you trade up for him, you can still build through the draft in later rounds and free agency, still pick up guys.
Yeah.
I do agree you'd be able to build the roster more with trading for Justin Fields rather than trading up for a top 3 quarterback. But at that point, it's more about the future, more about next season, the year after that. The Raiders fought like 3, 5, 7, 10-year plan moving forward of how competitive will this team be, and will you still be searching for a quarterback in 3 years?
Yeah, I see a comment below from Hugo says, laugh out loud, Mitch wants to trade up every year, but it's because I want to trade up every year because I knew that you were never going to win anything with Jimmy Garoppolo at your quarterback. I knew that you were never going to win with Derek Carr as your quarterback. So, if the Raiders would have traded up last year, you could have had somebody like C.J. Stroud. And I'm telling you right now, if the Raiders had C.J. Stroud this year, as good as what the Texans are, honestly, I think the Raiders with C.J. Stroud would have been a better team than what the Texans are with C.J. Stroud. I think it's a fair argument. I'm not saying you never know what exactly can happen, but I think the Raiders had a better defense down the end of the stretch.
The only thing that I refute with that is, would C.J. Stroud flourish under Josh McDaniels?
No.
And
no,
that coaching staff rather than Bobby Slowick and DeMeco Ryans.
I could not agree with you more. I don't think that's. I think if C.J. Stroud.
That's the only reason why I say it might be a little different for that scenario.
You're 100% right. Not the same. I'm saying if C.J. Stroud is the exact same QB, right? Like exact same. I know it's not. You can't say apples to apples. But if C.J. Stroud is playing as well as what he did You put him on just the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a better team than Houston. My point was more of if you would have traded up for Stroud, you could have really switched your entire team.
You could say last offseason which team was in a better spot, Raiders or Texans, and it's definitely the Raiders.
Oh, I know, but my point is you add a quarterback like C.J. Stroud to a team like the Texans. Don't get me wrong, Texans played a lot better than their defense stepped up. They did a lot of the right moves, but the Houston Texans were one of the laughing stocks in the NFL. You had a franchise quarterback, and now they're suddenly a playoff team. You know what I mean? That's why, to me, yes, it is scary to trade up for a quarterback, and yes, there is a lot of risk, but if you find that right guy, changes everything. Changes everything.
Real Cowboy 307.
What's more likely, trade for Fields or sign Russell Wilson? Trade for Fields. Considering the fact that there are multiple Raiders players that want Justin Fields, I'm telling you right now, multiple players want Fields. I'll say it's Fields. And it's also that the relationship with Champ Kelly, and because they look at Fields and they say he's 24 years old, and he does have upside. You cannot deny his upside.
You can't.
Why not try to maybe go after a player like that compared to Russell Wilson, who, yeah, he's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong. But I know that the Raiders locker room, let's just say, doesn't really like Russell Wilson. So you keep all these pieces together and you want to keep that close locker room. Does it make sense to bring in a guy like Wilson that he's not going to be a fan favorite? He's not going to be a locker room favorite. You know that from the jump.
Agent 12 from the Hidden Leaf Village.
Let's not be delusional. The Bears are not trading the number one picks. Why would they? Mitch, you brought up the 2016 draft, and Jared Goff is nothing in comparison to Caleb Williams coming out of college. I don't really know what your point is here, but you say
he's saying we compared when the Titans traded the number one pick to the Rams, and what you're saying is exactly our point. Is that was the trade back then?
Yeah.
Now for Raider fans that think trading up to number one is going to be that same price or even less, you're delusional, because the whole point of us showing that trade is saying this is what it cost before, and now add on to it of what it's going to trade or cost to trade up this year.
And I do think Goff and Caleb Williams are not comparable, but here's the thing, and we're going to talk about a show coming up here today. You say that the Bears aren't going to trade the number one pick. Why would they? What if the quarterback that a lot of people think wants to go number one doesn't want to go there? You know what I mean? To me, I actually think the Bears could trade the number one pick. I don't think it's to the Raiders. To me, I think if there's a team out there that trades for the number one pick, it's the Commanders. I could see the Commanders trading up to one, and the Bears go, okay, we're going to let the Commanders go up to number one, who then I actually think they take Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams grew up in Washington. So then when I say I mean D.C., he goes there. Then the Bears have any of their pick at quarterback at number two.
I think Bears go Drake May in that instance.
Maybe. Right? And then there's the New England Patriots, who probably take a quarterback on top of that. I do not think that it's likely that the Raiders trade up into the top three, hence why I had Justin Fields as my number one quarterback most likely to start for the Silver and Black. Anthony, happy Friday, Nation. Cheers, Mitch and Chugs. And can I get a Raiders? You know what I also realized, Jeremy? We don't have a 50-50 raffle.
No, I put it up there.
Oh, you did?
$20.
$20 50-50. I don't know if you did because I don't have any. Let's go. Get them in right now. 50-50 raffle. 20 to get in at Mitchell Renz 365. Anthony Green, I'm watching y'all from Washington, D.C. Where you at? Where you at? Also, we are 50 away from 500.
I'm going to answer this next one if you want to go ahead and slip that other jersey on.
Good point. Good point. That's on me.
And then we'll get into our next segment, which is Senior Bowl winners and losers. What guys from the Senior Bowl could you see in silver and black next season? We had one of Mitch's friends actually at the Senior Bowl send us a little, synopsis of what he saw down there in Mobile, Alabama. Go home to Alabama. But yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh, man. Sir Chai, R.I.P. boxing and Raider legend, number 49, Carl Weathers. R.I.P.s, man, R.I.P.s. Let's go to Raiderstein. I'll tell you what.
I made this joke, and I didn't know how many people were actually going to get it.
Okay. What was the joke?
He said, "In for the helmet, Chugs. Love your show. This is our show, and it's technically correct. But the monster of Raiderstein is too much for a jersey. It was anointed at a game, Texans 2 years ago." He said it says Raiderstein, but I said technically he would be the monster of Raiderstein because people forget Raiderstein was the doctor.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a play on Frankenstein. People think Frankenstein is the name of the monster, but Frankenstein was the name of the
creator?
Doctor. Yeah, the creator. He created Frankenstein, so it's Frankenstein's monster.
Interesting. I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
Is that a true fact? That's a real thing. Smitty's got glasses, so I'm going to believe him. He's nodding his head.
Dumb joke, but appreciate it. Appreciate that, right?
I mean, I'll tell you this.
And you're in.
I feel like I learn something new every day on this show, whether it's good or bad. I just learned something new. I mean, it makes more sense. It definitely makes more sense.
Lord Cameron Abbott.
What?
The Legends, number 45, if that's okay. The second choice, if not, no worries about having me slip through the cracks. I'm happy I was the first. Haha. Raiders. All right.
So you want 45, which luckily Abjan just said that he would take his jersey, and he's actually 45. So Abbott, I'm going to put you down as number 45 here. And again, that's
the monster's name was Adam. I don't know about that.
Maybe it was.
Raider fans matter. If we move up to get a franchise QB, giving up draft picks, what should be our next pick? Offense or defense with all of our free agents?
Also, first off, shout out to the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yep.
Shout out to the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Darla.
I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. You're scum between my toes.
I think the next pick, I think it should be BPA at that point. But depending on what you do in free agency with your own players, if you don't re-sign all three of your free agent offensive linemen or do with that, if you're trading up for a QB, I hope the next pick would be offensive line.
If I'm the Raiders, I am going best player available. And that's just based off of what we know right now. What we know right now is the Raiders have, 50? I think it's like 56 players signed. And you're going to be able to get up to 90 at one point this offseason. But for Las Vegas, they have so many holes that they need to be able to go out and address. And if I'm thinking about draft picks, I'm going best player available. Though I've also said on this show, like if I'm going to spend big in free agency, it's at defensive tackle, and then I'm going to be able to piece together a few other players. Like I might even look at spending big or trading for a receiver this offseason, which I do think is a possibility with the Raiders. I'm a believer that thinks that they end up trading Jacoby Myers, which I know Jacoby's a good player, but I don't really think he fits what Kliff Kingsbury wants to do. Plus, he's got those. Hey, he's a player that the team likes, but he also is a McDaniels guy, and I'm curious to see if they try to weed out some of those type of players.
Lamonte.
Also, it's confirmed.
Lamont. Live from Diego, which is.
Is this like somewhere else?
Wales.
Is it? Well, no, it's. San Diego is Wales, So this would just be,
Yeah. Imagine my face as a Niner and Nation fan when Jimmy left Niners, then goes to the Nation SMH. CK will want I think you mean KK, Kliff Kingsbury, will want a mobile QB for sure. Also, would you rather have a top QB or Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison Jr.? I wouldn't trade up all that way just to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't get me wrong. He's an amazing receiver. Maybe the most surefire pick in this year's draft, in my opinion. But there are so many good wide receivers that it would be hard to justify moving up to get a receiver when you have Devontae Adams. And if you really wanted a receiver that bad to pair with Justin Fields, you have options like possibly Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors at 13.
My answer to this is I will always take the quarterback. And the reason why I say that is, as a Raider fan, you should look at this past season. You have Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is arguably the best receiver in football, and he's been the best receiver in football. And that resulted in 6 wins, and it resulted in 8 wins. Then you got to look at what Kansas City has in Patrick Mahomes. I think they have the worst receiving unit in the National Football League. They might be the worst receiving unit in the National Football League. But guess what? It doesn't matter when you have such a different level of a difference maker. And I think like what fans don't consider is the Raiders are not like every other team. And when I say like they're not like every other team, you can't just say, oh, well, this team does this team does this. The Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders are in a division that has Patrick Mahomes in that division. I don't care what other teams do because at the end of the day, until you find somebody that can match somebody like that, you're wasting your time. And like for the Raiders, I don't know if that's Justin Fields. To me, that's why I want to trade up to number 3 because Fields I've seen long enough to say I don't think he's going to compete with Mahomes. One of those other guys might be able to.
Victor said, let's get it. You're in for our David Zahn jersey raffle. Damian says, Damian Lillard in the chat. Shout out Damian Lillard.
What's up, man?
Good year with the Milwaukee Bucks so far. Weird situation with the coach. They let go of the coach even though they're in one of the top 3 spots in the Eastern Conference. Let me know what's going on, Dame. He said he wants Caleb Williams. And then David Zahn said, I'm with Dame. It's Dame time.
Dame time.
And then don't F with this guy. Not one bit. James Lillard, he says, fellas, does Mayer work in the air raid offense? I think 100% yes. He actually fits 10 times better in the air raid than what Josh McDaniels was running last year. People forget, when he was at Notre Dame, he was the number 1 receiving option for that team.
Yeah. And last year, when you look at a lot of the, I'll call them just next-gen stats, if you will, Michael Mayer, from a receiving stability standpoint, was actually one of the best receiving tight ends in the league. And what's funny about McDaniels and just how much of like an idiot that this guy is, the best offenses he ever ran were 2 tight end systems, right? You get a tight end like Michael Mayer, and every year that he was a head coach, since he had his great tight end year, the tight end usage went down and down and down. So last year, the Raiders' tight end usage was 5%, which is the lowest that it's ever been with Josh McDaniels. So to me, is Michael Mayer going to fit? Yes. To me, Michael Mayer has the upside to be, and I've said this before, a top 5 tight end in the National Football League, and you kind of saw that a little bit as the season went on. Like, that guy can block. He's great for screens, which you're going to see a lot of. He has the speed to go vertical. Michael Mayer is going to be one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. You can mark my words on that. Now, before I get into this next segment here, I do just want to say everybody that is in for our duck race here, Ryan Soup, Matt Fluhey, Jamari Murray, Raider Ryan, and Ricardo Mondragon, and then Justine Gonzalez, you in. So that's 6 people that are in, which means winner gets $60, $20 Venmo for a chance to win 60 doll hairs. Coming up here next on the Raiders Report is we're going to get into the Senior Bowl winners and losers, and some of these names are from my buddy who was at the Senior Bowl himself. Some of these are from other prospects that have just been notably as the big winners. Also, Jason Martinez, you are in. Chugs, you ready to get this thing going? Chugs is giving me the thumbs up. Coming up here next on the show, some Senior Bowl winners and losers. However, let me just get my script in the right spot. Different sponsor. And, oh man, this might be bad. Did I not put it in here? All right, we did. We're good. We're good. I got it. I got it. We're good.
Oh, wait.
It's in here.
Oh,
actually, though, no.
Yeah, we changed it.
Yep.
Okay. I was going off the top. All right.
It's okay. That's on me.
We're good.
That's on me. All right, here we go. Coming up, Senior Bowl winners and losers. Shout out to all y'all for being patient. Shout out to all y'all for always tuning into the show. And then if anybody sends in a super chat from here on out, we'll answer it after this segment. And then I actually got one more segment coming up for you. Ready? Chugs is ready. Hopefully you guys are ready. Let's go. Coming up here on today's show, the biggest Senior Bowl winners and losers. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, and this list here is from one of my good buddies back from my fantasy football days. He's been at the Senior Bowl over the past 3 days, and 10 of the names out of the 15 that you're going to see on this show are from him. The other 5 are from news and notes and from other things that I have gathered over the last 72 hours just following along with the Senior Bowl. I do think it is important to note for the Raiders and for a lot of NFL teams, when you have the opportunity to have a coach that's actually there, I do think that it goes a long way of you should definitely document which players dominated at certain positions. And the fact that the Raiders had their defensive line coach, he was a linebackers coach this time for the American team, Rob Leonard. The game is going to happen on Saturday. And the time that I am making this video, it is before the game on Saturday, so that should be noted. Also, on top of everything else, I am only solely basing off this winners and losers list based on the 3 days of practice, which I would say are maybe more important than the game itself. If you find yourself looking for draft videos every single day during the offseason, guess what? We're pumping out a lot of Raiders draft videos. If you're like, Mitch, who should the Raiders target in the 2024 NFL Draft? We'll be making videos around that. Mock drafts, tons of content here on the show. Never miss any of it by hitting that subscribe button. It's 100% free, so what do you got to lose? All right, let's go into some Senior Bowl winners. The first winner that my buddy sent me was Ladd McConkey. And I think it's funny because the amount of Raider fans that have said, Mitch, you always say we're going to move on from Hunter Renfrow. I get it. White guy in the slot, but this guy is a hell of a route runner, and he was dominating at the Senior Bowl. Clearly a winner, though I don't know if he necessarily fits the Kliff Kingsbury system, but hey, what do I know, right? Let's go to the next big-time winner here, Marshawn Lloyd, and I am telling y'all right now, put this name on the map. Put this name on the map. If the Raiders decide I want to roll with Zamir White, I don't want to bring back Josh Jacobs, considering the fact that Kliff Kingsbury worked with Lloyd last season, I do think it should be noted, and then also the fact that the Raiders hired their running back coach, DeAndre Foster, who also worked with Kliff Kingsbury, Deshaun Foster back in 2016 with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I do think that Lloyd could be an intriguing prospect to be able to add if you go, you know what, I do want to add a running back in the draft. Maybe in round 5, 4 is probably where I see him end up going. Undersized from height, but he's a lot thicker than what people give him credit for. And he was a clear winner from what I understand at the Senior Bowl. Let's go to another wide receiver here, Roman Wilson. And Roman Wilson, I think out of all the receivers, was probably the one that I think dominated the most. And I am glad that he had such a good weekend, or I guess I should say week, at the Senior Bowl, because when you play in an offense like Michigan, you don't get as many opportunities. And I would say the clip that's gone viral on social media is the route where Roman runs against Quinion Mitchell, who you're going to see here on this list, who was by far the best player at the Bowl the past few days here. Yeah, he tripped, but Wilson was a good route runner. He showed good hands. He showed some explosion. I think it really helped out his draft stock. Let's go to the next name here, and it's Brandon Fisk, defensive tackle from Florida. What did I say? Braden Fisk. That's these boots hitting me. Defensive tackle from Florida State. And if you're the Raiders, you know that, hey, Rob Leonard, who I get, he was a linebackers coach, but he also works with the defensive line here for the Silver and Black, was out there, scouted this guy, and he was one of the clear winners. 6'5", a little bit undersized from a body style that you like to see at a defensive tackle, which is definitely going to be something that he gets knocked for. Who likes hustle? Who likes 110%? The Raiders do. Antonio Pierce does, and he was really good in the one-on-ones from what I understand. So 43 tackles, 6 sacks this past season with the Seminoles. Let's go to another name here. It's Theo Johnson, and you guys know I grew up in Pennsylvania. I'm a Penn State fan, so shout out to We Are. But this was another dude that showed really good athleticism. And when you play in a Big Ten school, minus maybe Iowa, which I think is known for its tight end development, Theo didn't know exactly where he's going to go. He might have bumped himself an extra round, considering the fact of how well he looked this past week at the Senior Bowl practices. I got a few more winners, then we'll get into the losers here in just a second. But today's show sponsor, shout out to PrizePicks, man. I know Pony Carl does PrizePicks. My question is, do you? Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types or make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So Raider Nation, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. My picks for Super Bowl 58 are as followed. And if you guys ever want to submit your picks to me, if you ever want to post a screenshot, I had a Raider fan last week send me his picks, which was like $20 to win. It was like, I think it was $20 to win $1,800. Like, it was insane. It was all the demon picks. And the demon picks are, they literally show like a demon next to them, and you get higher payouts. That's the word I'm looking for. Higher payouts for a chance to win a little bit more money. This one is 20 to win 200, but if you like really love what I have up here, put a little extra money on it. And if you want to just say, hey, Mitch, appreciate the picks, you want to send a little tip to me, I won't mind it. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. I love it. I think you guys are going to like it too. There's a reason why they are the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Go get started with their awesome sponsor, PrizePicks. Clearly a winner. Let's go to some more winners here. Offensive tackle from Oregon State. And what's funny is I have actually had Talisi in a few of my mock drafts before. And when you're 6'6", 335 pounds, people are going to be looking at you. And when you're as athletic as what he was able to show, that is a big pat on the back. I'll admit, I can't use this would be a guy that Carmen Brasilla would like because he's a big athletic type of dude. But I do think that he has the potential to go in round 1 now. Like, I really do. Like, when you see a player like this is why if I'm the Raiders, I invest in defensive tackle heavily in free agency. And if I am sitting there at 13 because I don't maybe trade up and I'm going to roll with a guy like Justin Fields, this is a dude that you could look at and say, hey, man, if we could potentially get him, he played guard and tackle. He's got some versatility. I would imagine that he ends up playing at offensive tackle in the National Football League. But then again, I don't mind versatility. It gives us a lot of different options. But Talisi was definitely a winner. Let's go to running back from Kentucky, Ray Davis, who has been featured recently on one of my mock drafts. And again, when I think about where the Raiders are and what the Raiders need, I like to target my running backs in the 4th, 5th round right now for the silver and black, and I think he'd be a good comp back next to Zamir White. Let's go to Darius Robinson, defensive tackle from Missouri. And anytime that I see a DT, I get excited because to me, this is a team that needs to be able to bolster their interior defensive line. The other name that I was thought about throwing in here was Sweat from Texas, who I know you like a lot, and he was very, very physical, very, very strong player. Darius is 6'5", 296, so I'd like to be able to add a little bit more weight there. 43 tackles, 8.5 sacks this past season with the Tigers. Probably the biggest winner was Quinion Mitchell. And I'm happy for Quinion because I know that he's a hell of a talent. I sit here and I think, man, in a mock draft, I was able to get him in round 3. And what reminds me of this is kind of like what I said earlier about Cam Hart, and this is probably about a week ago I said this. There are certain players that come from small schools, and they're just freak athletes. They're a lot better, and then they start getting attention. Mitchell, I think, ends up going in round 1 now. I thought maybe he'd be a second-round pick. He's going to go in round 1. He's one of the best corners in this year's draft. And then this guy was a big, big winner. Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle from Oklahoma, and anytime you are a monster of a man at 6'7", 325 pounds, I know what his PFF grade was. I get it. However, though, when you're on that Senior Bowl field and you have an opportunity to really kill those one-on-ones, it's very, very important. When you're in front of a lot of those coaches, you're in front of a lot of those scouts, they want to make sure that you're doing the right things. And for the Raiders, that right now they do need an offensive tackle. I don't know if Jermaine Illuminor is going to end up coming back, but Tyler Guyton was clearly a winner at the Senior Bowl. Coming up next here on the show, we will be getting into some of the losers, unfortunately, that my buddy sent me that he scouted at the Senior Bowl. But remember, Chugs and I, we're going to be live in Las Vegas at the 8 showroom. And if you want to reserve your tickets, go to chatsports.com/biggame. You can see that link. It's going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. When is it? Sunday, February 11th, 2 p.m. Pacific time is when doors open. I've had a few people ask me, is it kid-friendly? The way that I would answer that question is as followed. If you let your kid watch the Raiders Report, then yes, it is a kid-friendly event. It is 100% free to attend, but space is limited. If you want to reserve a seat, Happy hour pass is $99. VIP pass is $149. If you want to hang out with Chugs and I live on the show, I recommend getting the VIP pass. Either way, though, if you want to get the $99 option, all you can eat, all you can drink, it's the best deal in Vegas. And if you're like, well, what are we going to be eating? Buffet style, and you can see all the food down here at this link below, chatsports.com/big game. I'd love to see you guys there. Would help out Chugs and I a lot. I want to kill this event. Let's go to now, unfortunately, the losers. Bailey, running back from TCU. My buddy told me not a very explosive player. Going to have a really tough time in the NFL. And this is an opportunity where, you see guys on TV, and they might not flash, but when you see them in person, I'm a big eye test guy, and he's not passing the eye test. Devontae Walker from North Carolina, which I kind of laugh a little bit because you guys know, obviously, I like Drake May, and Drake May last season had so much talent around him. Walker was one of his go-to guys and really was not able to create a lot of separation. Jacob Coing, wide receiver from UTEP, another player, unfortunately, was a loser here. And for the Raiders, they're going to be looking for a lot of speed. They're going to be looking for a lot of vertical threats. They're going to try to add some players that you can get some pre-snap motion. Trey Tucker's going to have himself a hell of a year for the Silver and Black, but he was also a loser. Let's go to the next name here on the show, Bo Nix. Quarterback, Oregon. And from what I have understood, and this is, again, based off of notes that I have received here, Bo Nix was one of the worst quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl based on expectation. Based on expectation. If you're going to be a QB that has the potential to go in round one, from what I understand, it was very, very lackluster. And then I will admit I have seen mixed reports on this one, but this is solely based on, again, expectation. Michael Penix Jr. I've seen split reports where Penix was the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl, but he should be the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl. He is clearly the best one there. This was more of the expectation of a guy that I watched on tape, and then you see him up in person. I'll admit it's not as easy for a QB just simply because it's a lot of timing. You've never worked with these receivers before, so I'll always give the benefit of the doubt to the QB position. But the fact that these two guys, for my buddy to say we're losers, I am going to use what he said, and I'm going to go with it. So what do you guys think here? Who's the better prospect, Michael Penix Jr., or do you think it's Bo Nix? Better prospect. I'm not saying better quarterback now. I'm talking Raiders. Who is the better prospect in the NFL? If you think it's Michael Penix Jr., type MP. If you think it's Bo Nix, type BN. For me, it's Michael Penix Jr. I also want to give a shout-out to my guy, Derek Brown. And if anybody is a fan of fantasy football, he's got over 53,000 followers on Twitter. And it's crazy because I can remember when him and I first sat down, we had dinner together, and he was just starting to get his career started. And now he's absolutely killing it covering the Senior Bowl. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. He's going to be out at the Combine as well. So if you guys want to go say thank you to Derek, you can see his Twitter down below at @dbro_FFB for sending me the winners and losers. And again, he does fantasy football. So all the players that were skill position players were from him. So 10 out of the 15 names that you saw were from D. Brown, and they were skill position players. To make sure that you never miss anything going on social media, Mitchell Renz 365, I am literally everywhere. And if there's any other names that you're like, yo, check out this guy. Yo, check out this guy from the Senior Bowl. Tell me. Because when you think about how many players there are, the amount of homework that I have to do to be able to wrap my mind around all these prospects, it's going to take some time. And if there's certain dudes that you're like, dude, I live in, like my guy Husker Raider, he's always like, check out this guy from Nebraska. I love doing that kind of stuff, and I care about what you guys have to say. So please don't be afraid to send me those on social media. Hit me up here on the show. Believe me, it means a lot when you do it. Better prospect, Chugs, give some shout-outs here. I got to put on another jersey.
All righty, let me know. Better prospect in this year's draft, is it Michael Penix? Type NP. If it's Bo Nix, go ahead and type BN.
If he ends up getting drafted, we're in trouble.
Oh.
If he's I don't know, what are you going to do then?
Oh, dude, we're making shirts.
Yeah?
If there's a Penix in Las Vegas, we are making shirts.
Penix in the black hole.
Dude, we have the shirt right there.
That's a seller.
Bring Penix to the black hole.
And you know what? That's really just the tip of the iceberg of what we could do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unlimited possibilities.
Oh yeah.
What number is Michael Penix?
Hmm?
What number is Michael Penix?
Hopefully 69.
I'll tell you, if you put 69 on a quarterback, I think Petey might jump off a cliff. That would be, I think, Petey's biggest nightmare.
I think Petey would have to concede that if your name is Penix, you deserve 69 as a quarterback number.
All right. Fair enough.
We do have some super chats.
We do have a few super chats.
Roll on through. John Rodriguez, Mitch, you're absolutely right. Raiders need to get off their asses and start bugging the shit out of all three teams and try not to get one of the top 3 picks till one of them breaks. If not, go for Fields and trade up to get either Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu.
Olu Fashanu.
Now, and honestly, from the Senior Bowl winners and losers, if I'm the Raiders in that instance and you trade for Justin Fields and you're saying, oh, we really need an offensive lineman, I would rather sit at 13 and draft, we were just talking about him in the senior.
Oregon State.
Talisi.
He's a hell of a player, and I think that's going to be another guy that does creep up the draft boards a little bit. But the more and more I look at talent overall, like for Las Vegas, the more and more I wonder if you trade for Justin Fields. Like this is again just me, and I know we say it every single year. If you trade for Justin Fields, I think it costs you a second-round pick, right? So let's say you lose your pick 44. If I'm Las Vegas and I lose pick 44, I actually try to trade back from 13, and I try to recoup that second-round pick and potentially then, yeah, you're going to get a later first-round pick. But based on the talent and based on what I think Las Vegas needs, I can make an argument that players like 10 through, honestly, like 32 to me, there's not like glaring differences where, like, sure, there's going to be dudes that are better than others. It happens every year. But if I told you, all right, we can add another second-round pick and we're just going to get a late first, I think that's actually a smarter route that Las Vegas could do, and hopefully they'd be on board for that. But again, I feel like I say every year, Raiders should trade back.
Shane Gamble, he's a smooth operator.
I think you should do a trade video with the Commanders and Patriots because I'm hearing Chicago is going to draft Caleb Williams. It's funny because literally the segment we got coming up here next is the exact opposite of that. So
he's a smooth
there's a lot of rumors. There's going to be a lot of reports, but this is why you honestly should subscribe to the show because there's going to be a lot of rumors. There's a lot of mixed signals, a lot of smoke this season, especially around the draft. But I've actually already made a few videos. I know it's a big one. It's this mimosa, man. I don't know if it's good. I keep burping. The amount of burps that I've had to hold, like on that Senior Bowl cut, the amount of burps I held in was substantial. It was way too many.
Crash Dog, what's up, fam? What did I miss? We just went over the Senior Bowl winners and losers in the first segment. Was around the top quarterbacks.
What's funny about this is Crash Dog's already in the duck race. Like, I'm guessing he sent this and then heard
I think people in the comments told me.
Okay.
I think people in the comments.
He's like, what's the duck race? I look down at my phone. I'm in.
Anybody else who wants to join, $20 at the very end of the show, duck race, 50-50.
You in.
Miguel, Money Mitch, and Chugs liking the staff for AP.
Dude, it's low-key one of the better staffs. I think what they're doing is they had a plan, and they're sticking to that plan. And right now, one of the MOs for the Las Vegas Raiders is, can I find a coach that was also a player that I personally trust? And if that answer is yes, then come on down.
Imagine AP with a staff like this and a Penix at QB.
Wow. It's ballsy. Will, would be amazing if we traded the number 1 and see what we could get from Washington for Williams. Probably a pipe dream, but could recoup some picks for the next year and take Daniels at 2. I agree. I do think that it would be really interesting to see what we could get at number 1. I'm not going to sit here and debate that. I mean, there's a reason why I want the Raiders to trade up. But
this seems like that scene from Draft Day.
Yeah, I agree. This is too much.
What's wrong with Callahan?
This is something that would be in a movie where you trade up.
Give me 2 seconds, Jerry, or else he's not yours. All right.
That was weirdly good, actually.
Sergio said he had sent it in, asking you to check. If you could just shout out the other people that are in our 50-50 raffle at the end of the show. And then we'll do our last segment around the smoke, around Caleb Williams.
All right, here are the people that I have in right now. Ryan Soup, a.k.a. Ryan Campbell, Sergio Torres,
Bam.
Matt Fluhey, Jamari Murray, Raider Ray, Ricardo Mondragon, Justine Gonzalez, Jason Martinez, which I don't know why I wrote him down as Jason, Anthony Green, L.A. Crash Dog, Cameron Abbott, I see Jose Ramirez, and then I believe we are all caught up. I will refresh my phone. Cameron Abbott in. Did I write that one down? Yep. So as it stands right now, 12 people are in. The winner would get $120. $120.
Alex Sign, 2004, as soon as Kingsbury was hired, Caleb came out and said he doesn't want to be drafted by the Bears. CW father really likes Kingsbury too. Thoughts? Well,
coming up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to give too much away because that's the segment we're about to do right now. Reminder, after this segment, we're doing our 50-50 raffle if you'd like to get in.
Coming up on the show. Wait, I do actually have to send you something real quick, though. Just real quick. Yep.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Also, Philip Boger.
Now, is that for...
Philip Boger, you in?
Is that for 5 spots?
No. Nick. Usually when it happens, I just give him one. Because it's not really specified. Nick LeKenny, you in? Philip Boger, you in? And also, I think I said it before, Justin Avgin, you in? Justin Avgin! Banana. Shout out to the crazy mother effer, Justin Avgin. I'll tell you what, man. This guy's nuts. This guy's nuts, man.
No, he's a person.
Nuts. If
Crazy,
Justin Avgin was a nut, what kind of nut would he be?
Wall.
You think he'd be a walnut? You answered that. I mean, that was like this entire live show. You've been like, please ask me what type of nut Justin Avgin's been. Please ask me what type of nut. Wall. I mean, it was just in there. That one was in there.
Oh God.
I'm thinking Avgin. He's a plumber. He owns his own business.
Wall.
In Idaho. I'll tell you what. Walnuts are a tough one to crack.
Mitch currently trying to think of other nuts.
I got pistachios and cashews in my mind right now. Mr. Peanut is breakdancing in my mind.
Macadamia. Almond.
David Zahn. Plumbers lay pipe. That's what they do.
Facts. Akash.
He's not wrong.
Are you doing a 24-hour live if we get the number 1 pick? I think we said a 10-hour.
10-hour, correct. The only reason is, which we didn't know at the time, but YouTube only saves streams for 12 hours. So when we did the 24-hour live stream, there's a reason why you guys can't see it. It's because YouTube never saved it. So it's kind of annoying because obviously you go live for 26 hours straight.
It's like the stream never happened.
You'd like it to be able to be on there. So to me...
Have we ever gone back and checked since, like, I know we did like a couple weeks after, a month after. Have we gone in the past like couple weeks and seen?
There's like a 2 hour, there's like 2 hours of it saved.
Yeah.
Which kind of stinks, but so I think we would do a 10-hour.
I don't know, Mitch, realistic scenario, do we get into the top 3? And he's been saying around 10%, maybe a little higher now that Kliff Kingsbury is the offensive coordinator. Maybe they try more and more, but it's always been, it's really not up to the Raiders. It's up to the top 3 teams. It's up to the Bears, Commanders, and Patriots.
Correct. Like, we can sit up here and say, we should do it, we should do it, we should do it. And Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, Kliff Kingsbury can all sit at each other and say, we should trade up for a quarterback. But what happens if, we think it's going to be this cost, right? We think it's going to be 3 picks this year, 3 picks next year, and a player, let's just say like Jacoby Myers. What if Chicago's like, we want 3 picks this year, 3 picks next year, and Max Crosby? That's all we're going to take. You know what I mean? Like, the Raiders aren't going to do that then. As much as I want the Raiders to trade up for a top 3 pick, if that's what the asking price is, I ain't going to do it, right? Like, if you want to trade up and you want to I made this example the other day, like the car, if you were trying to buy a Lexus and they're trying to say, well, unfortunately, it's going to cost you what it costs to get a Lamborghini, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to be able to afford it. So, we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, speaking of trading into the top 3 and speaking of Caleb.
We do record our live streams. The problem is, as soon as you do a stream over 12 hours, it doesn't record it anymore. Yep. So we recorded it for 12 hours, and then it basically deleted itself because it can't go longer than 12. And I don't know why YouTube does it.
All right.
I don't know.
Let's get into this Caleb Williams conversation. Saw Fields in the chat. Caleb Williams conversation, smoke, fire, coward, all of it in this next segment.
Andrew Conway, you in.
Ooh.
Andrew Conway. So that means right now, $20 Venmo.
My favorite Mighty Duck.
You'd have a Who?
Conway.
Oh, I was like, is that really Andrew Conway? I mean, that's like, I'm not going to lie. I can't even say his name. You and Brett didn't think it was as funny. The guy, the tech guy from the Ahern Hotel, his name, I can't get over it. Not the guy we talked to today, the other guy.
I know.
I mean, it's a top 10. I almost shit my pants. I thought it was hilarious. It's a great skit.
Good thing we always keep an extra pair of pants up here for Mitch.
Luckily, you guys can't see from belly button down.
Yeah.
Because it's a shit show. It's a shit show in these parts. All right, y'all, $20 Venmo. You got a chance to win $160. Coming up here on the show, smoke. A lot of smoke. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Sponsor. Oh, let me get my right spot here. And all right, I'm ready. You ready? Jeremy's ready. Let's get into the latest smoke here around the silver and black. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up here on today's show, lots of smoke around Caleb Williams potentially not wanting to go to the Chicago Bears. Maybe he's trying to force his way to the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to talk about it and the timeline of why you should think that this might actually happen. I wouldn't be able to do today's show, and I honestly, man, would not have been able to get up today if it wasn't for our sponsor, 8 Sleep. I had a rough night when the Raiders hired Kliff Kingsbury, but you know what? I was able to pull up because I had a hell of a night's sleep. Shout out to today's sponsor, 8 Sleep. $200 off the pod cover. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. So coming up here today, there has been a lot of smoke around Caleb Williams to the Las Vegas Raiders. I know there's going to be some people out there like, Mitch, man, you've been talking a lot about Kliff. You've been talking a lot about Caleb Williams. Well, guess what? The Raiders finding a quarterback is the #1 priority. If you don't want quarterback discussion, this might not be the channel for you. Because until the Raiders find a quarterback, I'm going to talk about QBs. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have one, you're just wasting your time. But this is the question that every single Raider fan needs to answer. And if you haven't been following along, I get it. I'm a busy guy too, but that's why you subscribe to the show. I'm going to keep you up to date. I'm going to walk you through the timeline. And by the end of the show, you're going to be like, holy shit, Caleb Williams might actually be a Raider. Do you want the silver and black to trade up for the USC quarterback Caleb Williams in the 2024 NFL Draft? Yes? No? Let me know down below. If you haven't seen the recent news from Colin Cowherd, he was live on a show yesterday. And when I say yesterday, I mean February 1st. And he said that USC quarterback Caleb Williams and his camp don't want to play for the Chicago Bears. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, man, I got to absolutely talk about this. He said this. There's some concerns here that dad is a little too involved. You're going to think I'm nuts here. I still think it's possible that Washington trades up and Chicago allows him to trade up because Caleb and his group don't want to go to Chicago. He's from the D.C. area. The big concern for Caleb Williams, and you have to admit this, where you land matters. Chicago has never developed a star quarterback. And I do believe what Coward is saying because he does seem to be very tied into Kliff Kingsbury. But I also got to be able to give my guy Graphic Raider his flowers here. And he said this a week ago. He said a week ago that he heard that the Bears aren't going to get Caleb because of the Commanders going to trade up to number 1 because, again, Caleb doesn't want to go to Chicago. So, this is something that Graf was talking about a week ago, and I believe Graf because I know he's very well connected with Tom Telesco. Tom Telesco is very well connected with Colin Coward. So when you start adding up a lot of these pieces together, I do believe what Colin Coward is saying here about potentially Caleb Williams and his camp not wanting to go to the Chicago Bears. So coming up here on the show is going to be more smoke around Kliff and more smoke around Caleb Williams because as soon as the Raiders hired Kliff Kingsbury, the bells should have gone off, and you could sit there and all you want to say, Mitch, it's not going to happen. They're not going to trade up to number 3. That might be the case, but we also said the Raiders are never going to trade Khalil Mack. The Raiders are never going to trade for Devontae Adams. Stuff in the NFL happens. It is an unpredictable lead. My point is the moment that they hired Kliff Kingsbury to be the OC, the chances of them trading up for Caleb Williams went up. And if you say, no, they didn't, you're just lying to yourself. So let's roll through this timeline here of why I'm saying there's a lot more smoke. Back on January 15th, Coward links Kliff Kingsbury to the Las Vegas Raiders. And one of the reasons why I've always said that it was going to end up being Kliff is because it's my job, but I also feel like I'm really good at following the tracks, right? Follow the tracks, boom, you're going to be able to find what you're looking for. And Coward back on the 15th said, Raiders Antonio Pierce will tap USC Kliff Kingsbury for OC if hired. He also said, I have a source that told me Kliff Kingsbury is likely OC if he gets the job. Well, guess what? Kliff Kingsbury, he got the job. Antonio Pierce got the job. So obviously, Coward is tied into somebody who's got a lot of sources close to the Raiders right now. He's tied in also, like I said, with Tom Telesco. So when you think about everything that he has said, it looks like the Raiders have a plan. And so far, that plan has been very well documented if you know what you're listening for. Then, think about this. If you're Caleb Williams, there was a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation. Could he end up going back to USC? The day that this report comes out, 3 hours later, Caleb Williams declares for the 2024 NFL Draft. That to me is a very important thing. If you're Caleb and you're worried that you might go to the wrong destination, but you hear this report or this report comes out and then for 3 hours later for you to declare, yeah, it might be chance. But I also know in life that chance, there's usually a reason why chance happens. And to me, there is something going on behind the scenes. And for the Raiders to be able to follow this plan the way that they have so far, I think that there's more to this than just what meets the eye. I'm going to continue to get into some more smoke here around the Raiders, around Caleb Williams, around Kliff Kingsbury. But I do got to tell you about our brand new sponsor here, and it's 8 Sleep. And I'll tell you what, if I would have said what solves all of Alex and I's issues in the bedroom, I don't know if I would have thought it was 8 Sleep, but it is. Why? I like to be cold when I sleep. This thing can get as low as 55 degrees. She likes to be warm. It can go up to 110 degrees. All I'm saying is this thing is unbelievable. So today's episode is brought to you by 8 Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. 8 Sleep's Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. I love 8 Sleep because it has totally stopped my night sweats. I like to snuggle with my dog Chuck, but my guy is warm, that is for sure. Thanks to 8 Sleep, I don't wake up sweating and get a better night's sleep. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. In addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just a month on the pod. So Nation, go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off, plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Start the new year right and invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep pod. But again, for me, the reason why I love this is because, and I'm sure there's a lot of guys, I'm sure there's a lot of women that watch this show. Do you like to sleep the exact same way that your husband does, that your significant other does? To me, that answer is no. Alex has got 10 blankets on our bed. I need a sheet, or else when I have a cover on, I sweat. I got my legs hanging out, and I don't care who you are, I don't care how old I am. I always feel like if I have my leg hanging off the bed, somebody's going to like reach under the bed, like grab it and take me down. I still think that way. When I have my 8-pod here, like I love it because I can just be cool. I mean, think about it's like in a car when you got your heated seat. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to just let that air condition hit you a little bit. Shout out to today's sponsor, 8Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. Again, $200 off. It's absolutely worth every single penny. Let's keep on rocking here with this timeline. Caleb to Las Vegas. Caleb then on January 17th, he spoke to People's Magazine, and he lists just some teams that he would want to play for. And don't get me wrong, I have been on shows before where you're talking to talking. Maybe for somebody that doesn't talk a lot to the media, you don't necessarily know what you're saying. But in a question where he was asked on which teams would he play for, he said San Fran, Raiders, or Falcons. And then he did say, I'd play anywhere. But at the same time, I think it's an honest answer, and I think it's an honest mistake maybe, because honestly, if I'm Caleb Williams or if I'm in Caleb Williams' camp, you don't give a team name. You just say, I'll play anywhere. But I think in that moment, he's young. Maybe he hasn't been in that spot before. He goes, it's an honest answer. Honestly, I'd like to play for the Niners. I'd like to play for the Raiders. I'd like to play for the Falcons. So I hear Raiders in there, and I go, all right, bet. Let's make it happen. Then, January 19th, the Las Vegas Raiders, they hire Antonio Pierce. And when that hiring happened, obviously, there's going to be a few different things that could end up going down and whatnot. But if you remember when they had him at his presser, and I said this on my show, I said it for the week leading up to that, whatever Antonio Pierce wants to do at offense, you need to listen to. So he said he wants a teacher at offensive coordinator. Kliff Kingsbury, guess what, was once a player. He was once a head coach. That tracks that. Wants more explosive plays. I don't know what's more explosive than an air raid offense. Take shots down the field. I mean, that's literally what it is. And everybody hears air raid and they think it's only running the foot or only passing. The Cardinals were top 10 in rush attempts. Yeah, they had a mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray, but they still ran the ball. You're going to see screens on top of that. Lots of motion. That's what the Kliff Kingsbury offense is. So to my mind is the Raiders have had a plan. Colin Cowherd has been linked somehow to this plan, and the Raiders have stuck to that plan. What if the plan is to trade up for Caleb Williams? All I'm saying is it might happen. You can't say that it's impossible. And if it does happen, I'll say it right now. I'm going to go live here on the show. If the Raiders trade up to the number 1 pick, if the Raiders trade up to the number 2 pick, if the Raiders trade up into the top 3, I will go live on this channel for 10 hours. Sound good? I need y'all to party with me. So if you're looking for Raiders quarterback videos, I got you covered. If the Raiders trade up, we are going to be balling out, and I need you to ball out with me. People who I know are always ready to ball out. My real ones. And if you don't know what a real one is, it's a real one for life. It's the term that we use here at Chat Sports. People that are subscribed, people that watch the live shows, people that super chat, people that hit me up on IG, people that legitimately, we might never have shaken hands. But I feel like I know you already, and I feel like I'd love to be able to go out and grab a beer. I feel like we could go out, hang outside of the Raiders Report. So shout out to Cloud, Husker Raider, Big Luck, Vincenzo people, Sienna. I see you, I appreciate you, and I hope one day we could all hang out. I think it'd be really dope. All right, let's keep it moving here on our Caleb to Las Vegas timeline. Let's go to February 1st now, okay? February 1st, Cowherd makes a claim, and the claim that Cowherd has made was, again, that people that he has heard from Caleb Williams' camp don't want to play for the Chicago Bears. So when you go back to his original claim on January 15th, I think it's safe to say that he does know somebody. He does know somebody. He has to know somebody. The amount of rights that he's gotten, he's got to know somebody. So then it comes out that Caleb Williams and his camp don't want to play for the Chicago Bears. I do find that to be a very intriguing thing overall. Then what happens on the same day? The Raiders hire Kliff Kingsbury. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Cowherd links Kliff to LV. Caleb Williams declares. Cowherd makes a claim. Las Vegas Raider hire Kliff Kingsbury. Now, I will say, I was on this show when the Raiders did officially announce the hiring of Kliff, and I said that we were told that Clint Kubiak, was not going to get a job with the Raiders at OC, and was one of the reasons why they were going to then transition to Kliff Kingsbury. The reason why the Raiders were waiting so long is because the Raiders wanted to interview Clint Kubiak. But as soon as they got word that Clint Kubiak was not going to go to them, we thought he was going to go to the Commanders. He ended up getting a job with the Saints. As soon as the Raiders knew, all right, well, it's not going to be Clint, but we're going to hire our guy in Kliff Kingsbury, and let's get this thing moving. So to me, all of those things are starting to add up, and it's starting to paint a clearer picture, which maybe that picture looks like Caleb Williams. Coming up, Coward and Caleb Williams recently did something that is going to make you end this show going, I'm not really sure what I'm thinking right now. Before I get into that, though, big game watch party. We'll keep this one short and simple. Where is it? Ahern Hotel, and we're going to do it inside of the Ahern Live showroom. Here's the address. Here's the start time. It is free to attend. If you want to hang out with Jeremy and I on stage, I recommend getting the VIP pass. Or if you're like, man, I just want to hang out with all y'all and hang out with the nation, reserve your spot. The only way you can reserve your spot is by going to that link down there below, chatsports.com/biggame. I'm going to say it again in case you weren't paying attention. Chatsports.com/biggame. Unlimited craft and draft beers and unlimited happy hour bites. It's going to be a great time. It's a great deal. Hope to see you there. And if we kill this event the way that I know that the nation can, there's an opportunity for us to do these things every single game next season. If you want that to happen, I want that to happen, pull up to Ahern, please. It would mean a lot to me. So then, Coward, on February 2nd, not going to lie, did a little bit of backpedaling. What do I mean by backpedaling? He said that Williams doesn't want to go to the Bears. He backpedaled on this, saying then he went on a show and basically was like tiptoed around the idea of maybe that he still could go to Chicago. So I don't know if somebody from Williams' camp called Colin Coward and said, hey, man, you said that Caleb doesn't want to go to the Bears. That turns out to be an issue because we're down to go anywhere. And the reason why that I do think that somebody called Colin Coward, and the reason why that I do think that there is some speculation that absolutely has to be here, is because of a picture that Caleb Williams changed his profile picture to. Now, I will admit, Caleb Williams made this picture that you're about to see here, his profile picture on Instagram, for about 24 hours. He now has recently changed it. And somebody might just look at this picture as, oh, it's just Caleb as a kid. Oh, I don't know if you notice what's on his shirt. It's a bear. And maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into this. But then again, I feel like I do this long enough to know why would a random player, when all this speculation comes up that he doesn't want to play for the Bears, makes his Instagram picture a photo of him as a child with a bear, and then in less than 24 hours, changes it. I don't know about you. I don't know how many times I have changed my profile picture, and I don't just, if I change it, I usually let it something like that for a while. The only time that I've changed my profile picture quickly is when I changed my picture to Trivan. And then I went back to my original me once Twitter updated this point. My point is this, in conclusion, there was a lot of smoke around Caleb Williams to the Las Vegas Raiders. There was a lot of smoke around Caleb Williams in general, but the reason why you need to watch, the reason why you need to check out this show is this, because there is going to be a lot of speculation. There's going to be a lot of rumors. There's a lot of tea leaves. But at the end of the day, I want the Raiders to find a quarterback. And if they think it's going to be Caleb Williams, I want y'all to know before a lot of other people do. And I want y'all to be like, oh yeah, we knew that because we've been following along with Mitch. My job is going to be to keep you guys up to date. And I promise you, I'm going to do my best job possible. Chugs and I. Nobody's going to outwork us. You can bet your ass on that. Wrong way. Nobody wants pick 13 when you can trade down to 2 or 3.
Talking about the Chicago Bears.
Nobody wants pick 13 when you can trade down to 2 or 3. So he's saying,
why trade back to 13 if Washington or the Patriots would trade up to 1 and they can stay in the top 3?
Sure. The answer to that is draft capital. It's not going to cost Washington to go from 2 to 1 as much as what it's going to cost the Raiders from 13 to 1. If you're the Chicago Bears and you go, well, Caleb Williams doesn't want to play for us, I don't love Drake May as a prospect, and I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to fit in my system, then you're not going to take one of those quarterbacks, right? Then you're going to go in a different route. If that's the case, then you keep Justin Fields, and then who gives me the most return for my bank? Who gives me the most bang for my buck to be able to build my team around? In that scenario, which I'm not saying that is the scenario, but that's the scenario that I just created of why you would rather trade back further. Sergio, if we traded up to a top 3 pick, we need another 24-hour, respectively. Way too much quarterback talent to not celebrate. 10 hours, man. I'm going 10 hours. It'll be 10. That way YouTube saves it.
Yep.
And that's just the truth.
We do have a 50-50 raffle to get to.
We do.
Last chance to get in. But
we also have a David Zahn jersey.
We do have a David Zahn jersey raffle as well. But before we get to those two things, before we get going on that, I want to leave y'all with some happy news on your weekend.
Trivan, you in.
I want to leave y'all with some inspiring, happy news to start your weekend off. Start it on a kickstart.
Yep.
I think this was a good story that came to me and Mitch, DM'd to us multiple times. So we wanted to go ahead and share it on the show and maybe brighten the start of your weekend up a little bit.
Yeah, so I think when I get a message like this, I don't care what anybody says. This is the ultimate proof that Raider Nation is family to me, because for somebody to send me a picture like this, it's beautiful. So I'm just going to tell you a quick story here. The baby's name is Raider Andrew Rogers, 19 months old, born with 5 holes in his heart. Raider spent 14 months at Sacred Heart Hospital in Spokane, Washington. We lived in the Ronald McDonald House for most of that time. Raider has multiple heart defects and a G-tube to eat and is severely delayed in all motor skills. But each day he grows stronger. Each day he fights with the just win baby mentality. Much love to Mitch and Chug. So this is a picture of Raider, who, as you can see now, is doing much better. And the family here has sent Jeremy and I, like I said, a bunch of pictures. And I give them a lot of credit because throughout the journey, I've always said, keep me updated. And they've absolutely kept me updated. The amount of amazing baby pictures that I have gotten here, it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm 30 years old. I'm not going to lie. I got a little bit of baby fever. I know that Alex and I are still a little bit ways away. I know how much I love my dog, and I can't imagine how much I would love my baby.
Can we spam the
Raider.
LVs and the hearts right now?
Can I get some Raider down there below?
A real Raider baby.
Literally.
A just win baby.
I mean, literally.
His name is Raider. Can we get LVs? Can we get hearts in the chat?
That's unbelievable.
We just thought this was a cool story. We thought it was
to
very
share it.
inspiring.
Yep.
And just another, way to show, like we said, that, even though not everybody here is blood, we are all a part of the same family with Raider Nation. And just showing love like this is something that really kind of warmed both of our hearts.
It's what it's all about, right? Like, everyone has tough days. Everybody has long days. And, when I sit up here and I think about the hard days that I have, maybe the hard days that Jeremy has, it's, when you see something like this, it's not even in comparison. I can't imagine as a parent going through something like this. But then also, to be a baby, and when you get older, you probably see something like this, and you're like, hey, man, like my parents, they were there for me. That's the type of bond that I think goes a long way. And I think Raider fans sometimes, like, you get looked at as on the outside of, oh, these guys are crazy people from Oakland, but they don't really actually know who we are. So I thought this was really cool. I wanted to be able to share it with you. So shout out to Raider, shout out to the family, and thank you guys for keeping me up to date on all this stuff. And Raider, when you get older, when you turn 21, we're doing a beer bong. I'm in. Shout out to Raider. Shout out to Raider, man.
We're doing a beer bong.
We're doing a beer bong, just so you know. We're doing one.
All right.
All right, Brandon Higgins, in.
I'm going to set up first the David Zahn raffle.
I like it.
And then while we're doing this, you can still get in to our 50-50 raffle. $20 Venmo to Mitchell Renz 365. Get that going. Here we go. Have the names.
Rough Raider 87. I'll be 50 years old. Oh, I know. 50-year-old Mitch knocking him back. My only question is, who's still going to be rocking with me when I'm 50 years old banging on YouTube? That's the real question.
All right.
What is the David Zahn raffle from Misty? Any $5 super chat, you have an opportunity to win a David Zahn jersey.
Which I can throw that up really quick. This is whatever number you'd like, but we wanted to give away a David Zahn jersey to get it going. He's Mount Raidermore legend.
To Lesbo, don't say that.
A legend here on the channel. So last chance. I have the race already set up. If you want to get in on the David Zahn raffle,
it's literally going to be a jersey that says Zahn on the back. And one of the things that I think I've always wanted to do, I think it would be cool, is imagine if we just start making these Raiders Report jerseys. And I think it's one of those things. Again, I always say I love the show because of the nation. I don't do it for a player or whatnot, but you never know what happens with a player. That player can get traded. That player can do something knuckleheaded. And it's the same thing, don't get me wrong, for people that watch the show. But I do think if I saw somebody rocking a David Zahn jersey just walking around Allegiant Stadium, that would be one of those things for me to be like, dude, our show is like really impacting people. And the fact that we have this many people entered in for a chance to win, we have more people right now trying to win a David Zahn jersey than we've done like a lot of like Raiders jerseys on here. There's more entries right now for a Zahn, and I think like that's a cool thing. So just so you guys know, the jersey, when I put the order in, I just got to get your shipping address. I got to get all that. So who does end up winning this, if you could send me a Venmo for $1 and then I can send it right back to you, just send me your shipping address and your first and last name. I don't want you to send it in a super chat unless you don't really care, because then everyone's going to see it. But if you're the winner here, just send me a $1 Venmo at MitchellRenz365, or you can message Jeremy on Twitter, and that way we can get your first name, last name, and shipping address. It's just the easiest way to do it. Fluey! Raider fans matter, Mr. Forever 420. What a name. What a name. What's the countdown? Oh, I thought you meant like till we start it. All right, y'all, 60 seconds. If you want a chance to get in, you got 60 seconds right now to get in for our David Zahn jersey. The reason why it's 75, his Raiders jersey that I wear is 75. Obviously, you can pick any number that you want. I was either going to put 75 or 24 since it's year 2024, but it's going to say Zahn. Justin, yes, you are in. Justin, you are in. I think, I guess Zahn, would you want just Zahn or do you want Long Zahn? Because mine does say Long Zahn, which anytime I wear that jersey in Vegas, people are always like, Long Zahn? What does that mean something? Though I do find it funny when I go out to Vegas, this might surprise y'all, when I'm out in person, I don't wear my jerseys backwards. I wear them like a normal human being, and I had somebody come up to me one time and was like, bro, I didn't even recognize you with the jersey on the right way. Whatever they like. All right, Zahn. Sounds good. I think we're good. Let's get it going. I don't like this. I keep drinking it, but two shuffles. Two shuffles. All right, we got a nutsack race here in snow. A nutsack race in snow. I like it. Winner, Long Zahn, David Zahn jersey. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's run it. Speaking of running, man, are they bare feet? No, they got shoes on. D. Hayes right now with the lead. Raider fan 209. An interesting spot. Abjin, that's a cute bow. That's a cute bow. Oh, Darth. Yeah, Darth. For those of you that don't know, Darth is the one that's got all the stars. Darth, just so you know. James Lillard. People are like, I'm not effing with that guy. They are staying away from James Lillard. Victor says, you know what? I'll take your spot there, James. Abjin here in an interesting spot. Up there at the very, very top. Agent 12. Agent 12 starting to pull away. Watch out for Raiderstein. Raiderstein's monster, excuse me. Cameron Abbott. Is that lipstick? It looks like lipstick. It's cute, though. I'm not going to lie. It's cute. OC Raider with the bow. Agent 12 streaking across. Watch out for Lamont. OC Raider. I'm Punchy 33. I have no idea. John Rodriguez. John. That was electric. Sienna, this was one of the best races we've seen. I think the best ones are when there's multiple people. The worst is the snail. The snail race we did 4 months ago might have been the worst one. John, I don't know if I have you. John, 2 options. Venmo me $1 right now at Mitchell Renz 365. First name, last name. I'm guessing it's John Rodriguez. Shipping address, and then I can send the $1 right back to you. John was first and third. Who gets the butthole pick? Raiderstein Monster in second. Cameron Abbott, you get the butthole pick. Congratulations. Whoever comes in last, butthole pick. I want to see if I have John on here already. I don't think I do. John, I need you to claim your prize. John, let me see if I have a John Rod. I don't think I do. Wait a minute here. I do see John Rodriguez. It's an older one. 5 days ago, John. John, are you JRODRIG 12373? I think so. Did you win? Did you win the Zon jersey? Let's see here. Okay, Jeremy, that means we got one more race to do. One more race to do. Also, wrong way, super chat. What's your perfect quarterback room? Justin, AOC, Bo. My perfect quarterback room does not involve Bo Nix. I can promise you that. And honestly, man, like, I like Aiden O'Connell, and I'm not trying to. But does Aiden O'Connell make sense in an air raid in Kliff Kingsbury's offense? My answer to that is no. Like, what? And I do think it's going to be an interesting situation for Las Vegas where they have to make a tough decision. Like, do you decide to keep Aiden O'Connell as your backup because Justin Fields and Aiden are very different? All right, John. Can you? So I just messaged you, John. Can you message me your shipping address on Venmo, since I just texted you on Venmo, messaged you on Venmo? But you're like, I think you got to find another backup quarterback. I mean, Aiden, I do think could work if need be, but it'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Final call to get in, and then it'll be closing time. Then we're gonna get the weekend started here, which I'm not gonna lie. What? I know, but John, I need you. I just messaged you, John, on Venmo. But I don't have his email. Whatever I said was not his email. That was his @ on Venmo, unless that's the exact same thing. I will. All right, I'll try to email you then, John. That might, I'm not going to lie, that might not happen until Wednesday. So I'll just keep that in mind here. Let me document that before I forget. All right, John Rodriguez, Zone jersey. Or, and hear me out, John, you go on Venmo and you just respond to my comment. It might be the easiest thing. It might be the easiest thing. Email is his Venmo. We'll try. All right, y'all, final call to get in our duck race to win a little bit of money. Ooh, one more. Avgin, the answer is always yes. For you, I will always suck it up. However, though, I don't want you to be the one that does it. Who's going to step up for Avgin? Who's going to step up for Avgin? Who's going to step up for Avgin? Avgin wants a beer bong. That guy sends more bangs in than anybody alive. Somebody step up for Avgin. I don't want Avgin to do it. Avgin does enough. Who's going to be the one that steps up? We got Ricardo Mondragon, which I'm a little bit confused about here. Christopher Moreno. I got you. Save your money. Save your money. All right, so in terms of this duck race here, Scott Eckert in. Brandon Higgins in. Ray Aguirre in. Chris Marino is in twice. Okay. Ricardo Mondragon sent me 5. I'm not really sure what that's for. If you want to add a little bit more into it, let's get it popping. Eric Garcia, you in. Raider Ray, you are in. And then Cameron Abbott, you are in. Can you just check that for me? You are in. All right, so right now, as it stands, 25 people in, which right now means you got a chance to win $250. This is usually when Richie says, put me in. Usually. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. Lamont says Trey Lance for a backup or Geno Smith. I mean, I don't even see how you put those two together. Either Trey Lance or Geno Smith for a backup quarterback. I mean, the answer is Trey Lance. That's going to be your backup. Geno is making $33 million a year. If my math is right? 3-year, $100 million. I mean, Trey Lance to me would be a better fit in a Kliff Kingsbury offense than probably Aiden O'Connell. It'd be a risk, no doubt, but then again, I'll take the high risk. As a backup, I'll take the high risk. Oh, you got that? Did you hear that? Cameron Abbott. Bang! Let's go! Stepping up for Justin Abgin. He stepped up for Justin Abgin. I said Cameron Abbott stepping up for Justin Abgin. There's a lot of, I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of banging going on today. A lot of bang-a-ranging going on today. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And it says this is the friendly reminder that none of the Super Chats, none of the Venmo go to Jeremy and I. Let's just throw that out there right now. It goes back into rent, the lights, our computer systems here, and getting you guys as much content as humanly possible. Abgin, you dropped your crown, King. Oh, let me get that for you. Oh, let me get that. You know what? I think that'd be kind of a cool idea. What if we found like a Raider crown? A Raider crown? Is that possible? I think we could do it. Or do we just drink Crown? Crown would be dangerous. The only time I've ever had, I shouldn't say the only time, but one of my worst memories I've ever had with Crown was I went into the Eiffel Tower in Las Vegas, which is actually owned by a guy that watches this show. Cool enough. Fun fact. And he was like, yo, I'll hook up you and Tori. And then we had a few other Raider fans that decided to pull up. And we wanted to get a bottle, and they didn't have any like tequila. They only had vodka, which I hate vodka. And they also had Crown. And it was 110 degrees in Las Vegas. We were just drinking Crown with like cranberry juice. I was literally crawling on the floor the next day. It was rough, man. It was rough. Shout out. Oh, it was Crown Apple. Big luck. Only Crown Apple. I can't do regular Crown. Crown Vanilla, very good. Also, the Crown, I think it's caramel? Caramel's not as expensive. The caramel one is a little bit pricier. Cheers. Let's go. Spicy meatball. Oh, man, bro, if you're going to do a crown, you need to put a tiara on your queen, Sarah Otto. Down. I'm down. All right, final refresh. Oh, I got John Rodriguez, $1. Let's go. I got John Rodriguez. John, I got it. I will send you the David Zahn. Oh, actually, I lied. I do need you to also send the size of your jersey. So small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, 3XL. I think they go up to 4 or 5XL. So I just need you now to comment on, holy shit. I just need you to comment on that. I mean, you got to be shitting me, man. This guy's nuts. Justin Abgin. Bang! Are you kidding me, man? I'm not worthy. Chugs, I got a deal for you. 100 away from a boot. You got a boot in you.
Yes.
He says yes. If somebody's willing to bang to back up Justin Abgin, Chugs boot to close this mother effer out. We got a Chugs boot to close this mother effer out. Yeah, I'm ready for the weekend, man.
Cheers to the weekend.
I'm also going to do a beer bong with it, and he's still going to beat me.
John said, Mitch, I sent you my address on Venmo. What did I win? My daughter ran into the room saying that I won something. That's
amazing.
Actually hilarious. And John Rodriguez, you are the new owner of a David Zahn Raiders jersey.
Let's go.
Only one made in the U.S.
Yes, it is. Boot time! Cameron Abbott! Bang!
And it's a boot race.
Oh my goodness.
He said boot race.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't see that this said 3. Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. Cameron Abbott. Let's go. Are you shitting me, man? Are you shitting me, man? Who else has got a boot? DK, I think she's got a boot. She's scared. She's like, unless they have red bottoms, I'm not doing a boot. I'm not doing a boot. Who's got a boot? What about, is Cullen out there? Now he's gone. He's actually working. That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe, man. All right, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to put me in an interesting spot. 2XL, John, you got it. Wait, let me write this down because it's about to get blurry. It's about to get blurry. 2XL, a David Zahn jersey. That's unbelievable. Unfreaking believable, man. Shout out to the nation. Christy goes, wow, how did I miss all of this? Oh, Christ, a milkshake. This is going to be dangerous. A Zahn milkshake. Christ. You know what? Just for good luck. Just a splash. Just a splash. You tell me you don't like spoiled mimosa in your boot? It's just a little orange juice. Like, think of it now as like a blue moon. Now it's like a blue moon. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Cameron, Justin. Not worthy, man. We're not worthy. How many seconds of a head start? I might need a minute. I would say this. When you see the bubble of my boot go down, that's when you start. When you see the bubble in my boot go down, you start.
Who you got?
Who you got? I know it's not going to be me, so I appreciate everyone that says me. It's really nice. It's greatly appreciated.
It's you. It's always been you.
It's you. It's me. Oh, dude. All right, here we go. It's just going to get harder and harder, giggity, the longer I wait. I already have to pee as well. I did like 3 boots yesterday. I was a hurting pup this morning. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of a hurting pup right now. King Zay says, Avgin is my role model. I just picture King Zay or King J? King Zay and Avgin like in the movie Role Models. They're just like fighting. Don't tell her you want to see her whispering eye. I learned. It's not what you want to see. It's not what you want to see. Cheers, Chuggy Bowl. Cheers to y'all. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a pee. We're going to sing closing time, and we're going to get the hell out of here. Oh, we still have that duck race to do, don't we? Some of you are like, well, no, you're not leaving. You're going to see a drunk call. That's all I'm saying right now. Here we go. Good luck. Oh, God. Wait, you go left hand on top, right? Left hand on top.
All right. Mitch has to go use the facilities real quick. Last chance to get in for our 50-50 raffle. $20 to enter. Let me know. I saw what Mitch was trying to do there. He was trying to make sure the bubble never came by going super slow. But, excuse me. Chugs was like nothing ever happened. I was actually really thirsty. I hadn't been drinking a lot this show, so. Woo! Still got 575 rocking and rolling with us in the chat. Let's see any other people in for the Duke race. Oh, here we go. Last one I have is Cameron. Let's see. We've got Misty Williamson. You're in. And Christian Perez, you're in for our 50-50 raffle. Here we go. Christian Perez. There we go. Up to 27 people in this duck race. Winner's going to get 270 doll hairs right to your Venmo. So, last chance to get in. As soon as Mitch gets back, I'm going to go ahead and send it in. We have 27 people as of right now, as I just checked. And Mitch is back. So, this is your last chance to get on in.
Somebody call maintenance. Somebody put in an order for maintenance because there's a hole in that urinal. I put a hole in the back of that urinal. I feel bad. I honestly felt bad for it.
How was your day at work? Oh, one of my coworkers talking about how he got a hole in the urinal. Normal day at the office. Lunch orders got totally messed up. It was wild, Mom. It was crazy.
She's like, I'm quitting here any day now. So. DK's a real one. I agree. Though I do feel like DK and Jace both make me feel like the way I look at Brett is the way I feel like they look at me. She's just like, you're old, man. Oh, dude, I used to gritty all the time. Actually, I challenge DK right now to a gritty off. I know I can out gritty DK. I know for a fact I can out gritty DK. Come on. Let's see it. Oh, up here though. Oh wait. We're going to get a Diddy. Let's go. DK gritty. Hey! Oh, man.
What's the one you did on the bus? What is this?
Oh, that's I Want to Rock? I got you. Oh, man. If you want more gritties, hit up DK on onlygritties.com. Coming up next here is a duck race. $20 Venmo to get in. Mitch's mouth sounded like the name on his jersey, Tuba. I'm too drunk to taste this chicken. All right, final call. Let me refresh real quick here. I'll tell you what, this is why I love Friday shows, and this is why, honestly, I love the off season, because sometimes we get to these type of moments, and this is where I feel like we have a lot more fun. We let our hair down a little bit. Honestly, a show like this makes me miss Thursday night football. There's no way Rolly can gritty. I don't think so. I don't know what he's doing right now, but he's freaking me out. This is what I picture Rick James looks like, by the way. All right, people that are in. Last name that I got was Misty Chris Perez in. And then Luis Rodriguez. Amy, you in. RNFL, you in. So, that is the final call. Anything else that I get, that is going to Chuck's college fund. Again, Alex and I are trying to be good dog parents. We're trying to get him into Barkley. So if anything else comes in, that just goes to Chuck. All right. So 30 names in, which means somebody's about to win $300. Oh, somebody's about to win $300. I'm excited. $300? Let's go, man. Let's freaking go, man. All right, here we go. Winner. Sienna says, I miss Thursday Night Football too. I know. I do too. Wait a minute here. All right, only because this is one of my guys, I need you to add Daniel frickin' Jimenez. Daniel frickin' Jimenez. So now winner gets 310. What? All right. Oh, dude. Rev your engines, ladies and gentlemen. Rev your engines. Let's go. Winner ends up getting $310 hairs. Good luck to each and every one of y'all. I wish you the best of luck. Starting at 3, 2, 1. Let's roll. In the lead right now, I want to say is Gons. Well, wait, Jose Ramirez. Wow, this one is electric. LA Crash Dog starting to fall back from behind. Raider Ray here in an interesting spot. Crash Dog said, don't talk that shit on me, Mitch. Eric Garcia right up here at the top. Brandon Higgins starting to pull up. Raider Nation for life. Oh, man, I think it is. Raider Nation for life right here. Philip Bogert now in the lead. Higgins by just a tire. Raider Ray. Oh, dude, this one is unbelievable. Anthony Gray. Cameron Abbott in the lead. Daniel frickin' Jimenez right here. It's a cute bike. Amy was in last, now pulls up. Christian Perez starting to fall back. Amy with the lead. Is she going to have enough gas in the tank? I don't know. 10 seconds to go. Winner gets $310. Anthony Green starting to creep up in that little crotch rocket. Who's this? From the back. Chris Marino! Now you're just showing off. I mean, what an unbelievable comeback. That guy said, as Justin Habchin said, put in the nos. Chris Marino, you are the winner. Who gets the butthole pick? Christian Perez is the real winner here. Christian Perez is the real winner. Oh, Soup in the Green. Sorry. Dude, I can't find this name. Oh, it's because it's Christopher Marino. Chris, can you please confirm, I'm going to put it as Vroom, that you just received $310. Chris, Terrence Miner said, butthole? Correct. Whoever comes in last place of our races, you get a butthole pick from either Jeremy and I. What's fun about it is you got to guess who it is. Check your IG. Oh. Wait, you got it? See, Marin? Hell yeah, that's me. I received the money. Let's go. 310. All right, cool. All right, y'all, for those that do not know, one more time, Jeremy Chugs and I, we're going to be live in Vegas for the big game. Bottom line is this. If you watch the show, there's still 500 people here. And even if you can't make it out to Vegas, I think doing a show like this is where I have a really cool opportunity to look at each and every one of y'all on the camera and say this. If we can get this thing to go the way that I want it to go, and I mean we packed the house, they absolutely love it, I think there's a really good opportunity that Chugs and I then can do what we do best in person in front of even more people and do it every single game next season, which then creates more opportunities for the show and creates more opportunities for us to be able to do really dope-ass shit with y'all. So believe me when I tell you this, if you can, please pull up. If you're like, dude, there's no way I can make it, Tell your friends in Vegas. Tell another Raider fan, hey, can you make this event? Reserve your spot. Chatsports.com/biggame. I want y'all to party with us. Shit's going to be a freaking movie, man. I love the motorcycle race. I'm a Harley rider myself. Yeah, LA Crash Dog, no doubt he's a Harley rider. I'm not gonna, out of all the races we've done, that was probably like one of my favorites. It's probably one of my favorites. We're definitely going to have to run it back. I do think, though, we need one more thing, though. And then we get the weekend started. Just one. Just one more thing. Though, if you know what it is, put it down in the comments.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn on all the lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time. One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. 'Cause I know who I wanna take me home. I know who I wanna take me home. I know who I wanna take me home. Take me home.
Friendly reminder, I'm not going to be live on Monday. Chugs and I got to get ready. We're heading out to Las Vegas for the big game. So be on the lookout for that. Next time you will see me live Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time here on the Raiders Report. Have a hell of a weekend. If any breaking news happens, you already know I'll be here. Peace out. Love y'all. See you Tuesday.